Hello and welcome into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. It is time for week 3 of our Winter Rumble, and today we have some amazing guests joining us, starting off with Stevens College, who just a few weeks ago hosted an all-girls Overwatch clinic. Their all-girls team will be joining us in the Rumble tonight, and we're also joined on the caster desk by the very talented Vicky Kitty. Of course, I am your host, Michael Fisher. Vicky will be joining us as well very soon here. And Vicky, this is going to be a ton of fun here. We've got some teams in this Rumble that we've seen for quite a few weeks, like the Everest, the Fire Islands, and the Monsoons. But it's always fun to see another school get involved, especially one like Stevens College, an all-girls school coming in to let them know that, hey, girls can play video games just as well as the boys can.
Absolutely, and they're coming out of left field too. With all the action that's been going down for the last 2 weeks, you can imagine that these teams are fired up. The adaptation is coming through for some of these players, but can they match against a new school, a new set of opponents? We're going to have to see today.
As we get ready to kick off again, Stevens College, an all-girls school. They have a blossoming esports program. They're going to join us for the Rumble after hosting an all-girls Overwatch clinic just a few weeks ago. The Everest, Fire Islands, and Monsoons all back from the esports tower. Of course, the Everest on top. Everybody is chasing them. And then Meridian Tech, who's been in a couple of our recent Rumbles as well, coming off a second-place finish in week number 2, vying for that crown. We will see who can get it done today. Again, week 3, part 1 of the Rumble. We'll have some group stage games. We'll come back in a couple of weeks and next week with our grand finals. But before we kick off any of the games, of course, we have to give you Doc's keys to the game. That's presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. And those, of course, never take a fair fight. What does that mean? It means taking fights in unexpected places when they are unprepared, and you have to have tempo if you're going to be able to pull that off. And as we get ready to hop into our first match of week 3, it'll be the Meridian Tech Dragons taking on Stevens College. We will not have to wait long to see how they match up. And it is a very tough draw for them, Vicky. They have to play last week's runner-up, Meridian Tech, who's been improving week by week. They're trying to get to that tough spot. We'll see what they can do here against Stevens College as we kick things off on Oasis for our first game.
Yeah, Meridian now coming off of second place finish just last week. They're looking for the run back. They're looking to carry that momentum now. Facing off against Stevens College, we're going to be able to see how Meridian Tech has been able to make some of those adjustments. Of course, with Big Boofus on the Zara, he's been able to pop off Soup on the Cassidy. And overall, the hit scan from Soup, he's been able to put on so much pressure. But with Meridian Tech now coming out of the gate, Stevens College, they got a lot ahead of them.
And we've got Burning, a new DPS for Meridian Tech as well. We'll see what he could do on the Doomfist against this more aerial comp with Stevens College as we kick off the first fight.
Absolutely. They got the pharmacy running about, and I love this choosing composition action from Atomic, as he is going to be able to get that boost from Rachel. They've already controlled the high ground here as well as the control point. Look at Meridian Tech now. Actually having to traverse through the staircase. They're trying to look for an opening here. They have Eternal Flame on the Baptiste, but hopefully with that Ant Matrix, they are going to be able to clear some of that space. Already going to be able to contest. I like this slow, methodical approach that we're seeing from Meridian Tech.
First pick gonna go on to Bumble. That's huge, but what can Soup do to Atomic? There's no pressure on the air right now as Soup goes down.
Absolutely not, and there goes that Ant Matrix that they have ready. This can control so much space here from Eternal Flame. We're going to see him already use up the Immortality field as he's going to wait. The contention, though, Meridian Tech, they have to try to flip this point quickly because already nearly 30% on points for Stevens College. They came out of the gate so aggressive. They got the Rocket Barrage, and the Rocket Barrage takes out Kings. That's the big tank going up for Meridian Tech, but Big Boofus gets saved by the Immortality field, but not before Eternal Flame gets taken down.
In fact, Atomic pulls off a Rocket Barrage, doesn't even get punished by Soup. So often, as soon as Afara Rocket Barrages, she is just dead in the water because she can't move. It's going to be up to Soup, and you see Burning now on the Soldier. They realize how much of a problem this pharmacy is. They have to swap the scan for Meridian Tech if they want to be able to come back on this first map.
Absolutely, this is the play here. After what we just witnessed from Atomic, she was able to pop off, control so much space with that Rocket Barrage. That Immortality field was nothing really other than saving Big Boofus, but was unable to save Kings. He's Soup now trying to take a flanking elbow. He's got the Deadeye. Hopefully they can clear some space. They're going to need it here since Atomic won't really have that cover in the air.
Jump in there. They also have to pull up. There's the Deadeye, though. Oh! They pick up two.
Yes, that's exactly what we're worried about. As Atomic didn't really have enough time to get away from that Deadeye. They waited for that perfectly. They had the Ant Matrix to control that space, and now Meridian Tech, they are going to be able to flip this point, but not before we see Stevens College hit nearly 88% already on this control point, and they're still contesting their things. Absolutely insane that they're not giving this point up to Meridian Tech yet.
They're going to probably get this to 99% with the respawns running in. It's a great play from Stevens Tech. Yeah, they get it to 99. This fight isn't over yet. I think Meridian Tech thought they had won it off that Deadeye, Vicky.
Absolutely, we thought it was going to allow Meridian Tech to flip the points, but we saw Stevens College just come in swinging with Atomic making their way back. Here comes Attack Visor, though. This is the opportunity to take care of Atomic, and they finally flip the points. But look at this, 99% already in favor for Stevens College.
Stevens College is probably going to have, I would assume, 4 ults coming in this next fight as long as they wait for Bumblebee's Tack Visor. So Meridian Tech going to have to deal with their 2 tank ults. You're probably looking for a grab maybe up on Atomic and then a Shatter down low. But this favors Stevens College, and they only have to win 1 fight because of that great stall they pulled off, Vicky, as they're going to start it off.
Oh, and the Rocket Barrage too. Atomic does not find anybody. Burning now at Soldier Swap has allowed Meridian Tech to put themselves back in this fight. But just as you were saying, they have so many ults that they have to worry about. Is it too little too late now that Atomic goes down? You see Big Boofus winning the trade versus Bumblebee. Stevens College didn't use all their ults minus that Rocket Barrage, so even though they lost this fight, Meridian Tech do manage to stave them off, and they didn't use too many ults themselves. They still have the Shatter, they still have the grab. Soup still has that Deadeye. That's going to be so crucial for the next approach Atomic is going to make coming out of the spawn.
Yeah, the Deadeye's the one I'm worried about. As you said, Atomic has to be tracking Soup at all times. That Deadeye, we thought flipped the fight last time. This could be a huge one for Soup if pulls it off as we near 60% as well. Bumble's looking for a flank on this top side with the Tack Visor.
Gotta be the double whammy here. You got the Deadeye. You also have Burning still on the shoulder. The Tack Visor looking for the opportunity as Bumblebee is just trying to hug the corner, trying to play this safe. Wait out the high noon, as you can see. Stevens College still coming up with 3 ults. Here come the minefields to control some of that space, but Soup still finds Bumblebee, who was hiding by the corner. Burning now has built up that Tack Visor, and with this Lucio ult, he's gonna be able to stay in this fight a lot longer. Stevens College, though, with that res, they have to track Burning, who's now dropped down from the high ground. He gave up that space, and he's so low. Can he get to the health pack in time?
Shatter's gonna come out as well. Meridian Tech has burned everything. Stevens College, they popped the nano. They have one last chance here, Vicky.
Oh, the Valk now from Rachel to help keep everybody from Stevens College alive. 99% overtime median here as Meridian Technical is still trying to stay in this game, but Atomic has been ruthless so far in this first round. Let's see if they can keep this up as Meridian Technical has now been able to reverse the situation, even things up, but there's nobody left here on the point for Meridian Tech. It's just a matter of time being wasted in the first round. Goes in favor for Stevens College, but not before Meridian Tech actually almost were able to bring that back.
That was a very back and forth map. I thought, that it looked like Stevens College was just going to 100-0 them. Then we had that crazy Deadeye from Soup that for sure thought was going to flip the point, but it was a great stall by Stevens College to get it to 99% before the point flipped, and they needed every single percent of that as they ended up going 99-99. And a couple of all misusages there, Vicky, but I think Stevens College was still trying to figure out when they wanted to use all those ults, and they also respected the heck out of Soup because those Deadeyes can turn the fight anytime you have a pharmacy.
And you can see the respect that came out of Stevens College when they realized that Meridian Tech, they were going to adjust immediately right out of the gate. You saw that Burning swapped over to the Soldier. You saw that Soup was trying to be more tactical with those Deadeyes. But now you have Stevens College, they still had the lead from the get-go. They had the advantage, but now that Meridian Tech is kind of on their tail, can they keep that up?
See, a flank potentially from Big Boofus. Might try and hook somebody up. There it is. Can't quite finish the combo off, though.
Oh, unfortunate there, though. But Meridian Tech now just trying to contest. But again, giving this space over to Stevens College, but huge nano right there. The anti hitting 4. You see them getting pulled right into it. I like this combo that we're seeing from Meridian Tech with the Orisa, with the Hog. That's why we see this combination coming out, because the holds into that anti really helped them out with Eternal Flame being on this Ana. And now Stevens College, even though they had that space controlled first, now Meridian Tech have reversed the tables, and they're going to have the advantage going into this round, too.
Yeah, a huge nano, as you pointed out. I wanted to say that Soup also landed a 4-man concuss that kind of set up that 4-man ante as well for Meridian Tech. So they didn't swap their comp as much as Stevens College did. Of course, the pharmacy won't work as well on this map, but I thought Soup, he's been playing phenomenal so far today, and he's going to have to keep it up because this team for Meridian Tech has been playing around him. When Soup does well, this team wins, Vicky, so there's a lot of pressure on Soup to continue his performance.
And you can see the synergy, too, coming in from Soup, Eternal Flame, and Kings. Now with Stevens College getting a little aggressive out of the gate. You have to worry about Thea, who does have a lot of that energy boost, but Soup with another Deadeye. He finds one of the supports. He finds one of the DPS. That's Rachel and Bumblebee going down. Stevens College really only have that Coalescence, but now when Mango goes down, Atomic beating them through. Meridian Tech have this control. They have this advantage. And what we had seen from Stevens College in round 1, they had the advantage coming out of the gates. They were able to take that control so quickly, but now for this round 2, it's not the same case here for Meridian Tech.
Biggest thing for Stevens College is, I don't know if it's Soil Pal or somebody has got to be tracking where Soup is whenever they hear that audio cue for the Deadeye. As you said, he picks up 2, he takes out a support, and they're going to jump right back into it. Once again, Big Boofus with the kill.
Oh my goodness, and a huge anti onto Soil Pal, the Coalescence, and the grab on top of that. No, you can't go anywhere. The Death Blossom just deleting everybody from Meridian Tech. But was it worth it here, Fish? Stevens College needed to use so much just to claim that point. They used the Coalescence, they used the Death Blossom, and they used the grab. Now Meridian Tech could build up their ults and reclaim this point just as quickly.
Soil needs a big shatter here, but he gets caught out!
Right behind the shield and the pin. There goes 2 now. Meridian Tech getting sent right back to the spawn. Just a matter of time before Stevens College manages to move all the way up. We talk about some of those adjustments, but Meridian Tech are now forcibly having to adjust around Stevens College playstyle.
I think the good news here for Meridian Tech is that fight, it was an easy win. They had to pick onto Soil Pal on the wrong side of a wall, but unfortunately, Soil Pal has the shatter. With no shatter, I like Meridian Tech's chances here.
And even with that shatter, look at where he is with his ult. Nearly at 60%. Here comes the Blizzard, though. He needs to hold back a little bit. Now you can see Stevens College, they are able to control some of that space. Meridian Technical couldn't push in because of that Blizzard from Bumblebee, but they take care of Bumblebee just as quickly after he was able to use that Blizzard. Soil now gets pulled in. You see the Nano Boost, but the Death Blossom again to control more of that space. But Meridian Tech have been able to stay alive thanks to that Nano Boost from Eternal Flame onto Big Boofus. That was the quick reset that they needed. And now Meridian Tech can claim this point, even though Stevens College have been able to reverse the situation in their favor.
Oh, they got a bit too aggressive. They're going to have to try and run away, because now they're just stalling out timers, Vicky.
At this point, that's what they need to do. They wanted to stay on that point until overtime, like right now, 99% with Meridian Tech, though, even though they had the control point first, now they're going to be able to try to reverse the situation. But Stevens College, even though they were playing at a disadvantage from the very beginning, they still were able to stall on the point until 99%. But they don't have many ults to work with here. They're going to need that sound barrier shortly from Rachel, which isn't going to be in this fight. So this Coalescence needs to get the job done from Mango, but this Anti is going to hold them back.
Oh, all eyes on Soup. Does he get a big Deadeye? It starts with a huge stun on Atomic. Can he win this map with a Deadeye?
Oh, the Deadeye! You were talking about Soupfish. You were talking about Soup for a reason. You have to track where Soup is, or else this Deadeye is going to wipe your entire support lineup. Meridian Tech, they were at a disadvantage. They cleared out all of Stevens College that second round, and they claimed the second round entirely in their favor. We are going on to a round 3 in this first map. What a close game it's been.
And Soup just absolutely plays phenomenal. We get a look here. This is his 3rd straight double kill with the Deadeye. He gets both supports with it, which pretty much guarantees his team the game. He had even gotten Atomic right before this replay started. It is all up to who can 1v1 or who can track Soup. Again, we go back to the pharmacy here for Stevens College, but the way Soup's been playing, I'm kind of worried for Atomic this time around, Vicky, because I think Soup has figured things out. Map 1, he was maybe warming up, though, but he's ready now.
Yeah, we have to see what Stevens College is going to do about Soup, because you nailed it perfectly there, Fish. Meridian Tech has been playing around Soup so well, and that's just the adjustment that Meridian Tech has been able to make when it comes to how ruthless Atomic was in that first round. But they have to take care of Rachel, or else that damage boosted Farah is going to take out one of your supports, like we just saw right there with Eternal Flame. He's the first to go down.
I like what Soil's doing here. He's just trying to cause disruption, and it's letting Atomic get free reign on the back line.
The objective is
Hello, Soil Pal is rolling right out of that situation. A little worried right there too, but knows that nobody could really stun him right there, minus Soup, who was playing out of the back line. That's something else to know. Soup could stun out Soil Pal as well as Mango. Mango's not too careful from the back line. They really do need Alithia to help peel for Mango, so that way they don't isolate Mango specifically from Stevens College. But Meridian Tech, this is playing out very similar to how we saw in that first round with Stevens College, having the domination from the get-go.
Soup way behind on the Deadeye. I like the Wrecking Ball pick, though, because it's going to allow Soil Pal to be disruptive and maybe set up another Rocket Barrage. With Atomic is just ripping them apart right now, Vicky.
Oh, and another one! You talked about Soup, well, we found him. And it's going to end up being pulled right out of the oven because Soup is nowhere to be found. You have nobody to contest Atomic now. Atomic also just denied that Coalescence charge from Jaber, so that's going to be ruthless now going into this next approach from Meridian Tech, because they cannot afford missing out on those ult charges.
At some point, Meridian Tech, you have to wonder, Vicky, they have the playbook, right? The answer to Farah is always hit scan. You have a Soldier and a Cassidy, and neither of them can find a way to get onto Atomic. I don't know how you change your gameplay when you think you have the counter and it's just not working.
Exactly, they have the counter right here available to them to take care of Atomic. Now, in this third round, it's so difficult on Oasis to try to contest Atomic playing off of this middle pillar alone, and then you also have to worry about Rachel. You have to make sure you take care of Rachel before ripping it into Atomic, but with this Rocket Barrage, you have to look into the flank of Meridian Tech. You see the Anti, this is a perfect opportunity for Atomic to find that Rocket Barrage. Now coming in though, Burning has a Tac Visor, he goes up on the grab lift, he finds Atomic, but it's not too late before Atomic finds 2 members of Meridian Tech first. So that Tac Visor gets denied almost immediately, even though Atomic goes down.
Meridian sent their entire team through the jump pad just to kill Atomic. They literally tried to 6-man Atomic, and they lost the map off of that. That was crazy.
That was insane. What was even crazier was the adjustments we just saw from Stevens College in that third point. They did not give an inch of an opportunity to Meridian Tech to get to that point first, and I feel like that's the strength that lies within Stevens College. They get so aggressive out of the gate there on control that they deny all that possible space and ult charge from Meridian Tech, which we saw already before with Atomic isolating the Mora, denying the coalescence. That would have helped approach the points, but without that coalescence and the rocket barrage being on board first, what can you do in that situation when you deny both of the hit scans that are supposed to counter you?
Yeah, I mean, it literally, like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, when Afara dominates you, you just say, Soldier, Cassidy, we win. No, that wasn't the case. I mean, like I said, they six-manned an Afara. I have never seen that before, ever. So I'm curious if they have a counter. We are going to go to Watchpoint for Gibraltar for our next map. It is a best of 3, so Stevens College could potentially win their first game in their debut. And Watchpoint is a map, Vicky, where there's definitely some areas where Farah can succeed. So it's on Meridian College to figure out how do you counter something that clearly wasn't just dying to Cassidy Soldier like 99% of Farahs do.
Absolutely. You know, I'm really glad you bring that up because you have Watchpoint that provides a lot of that verticality. So maybe are we going to see a swap to Hanzo perhaps? Maybe Hanzo is that necessary tool here to try to contest the powerhouse that Atomic has been on this Farah. But honestly, seeing the adjustment that we saw from Meridian Tech, you have to imagine that they're going to try to bring that going into map number 2. But since it is best of 3, Stevens College only needs to take this one more map to be moving on.
My big worry was going to be that Stevens College would say, well, it's Watchpoint. We have a different comp. But no, I love the fact that Atomic is back on that farm. We'll see how well her and Rachel could do on that, especially on point 1. The big news is we've got a bit of a swap for Meridian Technical. Vicky Soup's now onto the tank lineup, and we've got Yacker in on the Soldier. So they're going to try the Soldier Cassidy again, but they're going to swap up who's playing it. Maybe Yacker can have better luck than Burnington.
Yeah, we have to see, because now with Soup being on this Aristo, they could go in for the hold, they could go in for the stun, they could try to chain this, but Bumblebee is on the Bastion. You have the Immortality field. Stevens College is playing this ruthlessly. They are just going to be able to pirate bunker onto this payload. They already found Atomic, so now Meridian Tech, they know that that threat that was looming above them in that first map is gone, and look how they're popping off. They take care of Bumblebee without that force to distract and destroy the police from Meridian Tech. They know that they can fully halt this payload.
Someone clearly didn't tell Soup that he was on a tank. He picks up 3 there on that wrist. And I like the attempt from Stevens College. It was the pirate bunker, but we're also going to have Atomic on the far, so you kind of have to look low and look high. But as soon as the payload went underneath and there was no more support from Bumblebees, they just turned all of their eyes to Atomic. Now the question is going to be, how do they get back to the payload with this comp, Vicky? Because it's kind of meant to just ride the payload the whole time.
Exactly, and with the Bastion, that's exactly what they're going to need. They need that space for Meridian Tech. Having the advantage aren't going to be giving that to them. Although Stevens College, they are playing off the high ground. They have the Ana, and that's what I'm saying. Bumblebee will not be able to step a foot on this payload, especially with the comp that we are seeing from Meridian Tech. You see the Deadeye coming in, it's isolated Atomic, and the res has already been used up on Bumblebee, who's already falling so low. Stevens College need to disengage here. They need to recuperate because these antis coming in from Eternal Flame is not letting them reset.
And I almost feel like Stevens College just needs to, take off the Bastion for now, go to something else, because they basically are telegraphing we're going to go to the high ground, we're going to try and set our shields up in front of Bumblebees, and then, as you said, Eternal Flame's just hitting an anti after anti. I think this Bastion was a great trick to get the payload as far as it got, but I think they have to change off now, Vicky, because they're not getting anywhere now that they no longer have control of the pirate ship.
Absolutely, and you already see here, Meridian Tech, they have that whole advantage, but with Yacker going down, that Tag Visor won't be able to be a threat to Atomic, but that Sleep Dart from Eternal Flame will. Even though they denied their Rocket Barrage, it wasn't enough to take care of Atomic completely. Now Stevens College, they have the bunker set up on the payload. They are going to be able to take this first point, and look how far back that they're sending Meridian Tech back as they're staggering them with Big Lucas going down last.
My one concern here is there's not as much verticality from this point for Atomic to kind of rain from above, so it's going to be tough for Atomic to get a lot of value on this far. Maybe after a death she swaps off. There's also 3 ults up here for Meridian Tech, and they're nearing in on 4 and 5. I think they can win this if Yacker gets a good pack fight.
Oh, but the moment that Rachel split some of that attention and was not healing Atomic to get that res, Atomic goes down, so that threat from the sky won't be there. Oh, then Bumblebee getting pulled into Big Boofus. Big Boofus has claimed the head of both the DPS for Stevens College, and Meridian Tech up now controlling the space around the corner. I like the use of the mines as it prevents Burning from going right back to the rest of Meridian Tech, splitting up some of the team, but is that one pick going to be enough here? Now that Supercharger has been called in from Soup.
For the Rocket Barrage, there it is for Atomic.
The Rocket Barrage finding the 3K though, finding Soup in the process, giving them support to leave Jaybird low too. Meridian Tech needs to reset. They need to give this space to Stevens College because at the moment, as a two-man army, Burning cannot do it here with Big Boofus. The rest of Meridian Tech have now rejoined in this next choke point, but look how far up Stevens College is pushing.
At some point, Atomic and Yacker, they've been sitting on their ults. They sat on them for all of point 2. You have two basically easy kill abilities on Atomic. I'd love to see them go one fight after another. And here we go with the Tac Visor.
And there you go with the Immortality Field too to help maintain Alithia, keep them grounded. The Tac Visor though has found Atomic, as we were seeing here before in that first map. You could see currently Rachel just hiding around the corner, but with Stevens College just trickled into that room, that big ante is gonna deny them. It's just a matter of time before Stevens College resets. And Meridian Tech at the moment need to try to keep up this momentum because they gave those first 2 points to Stevens College relatively fast. As you can see the timer on the clock as 3:35 already for Stevens College.
You get the swap for Bumblebees now on the Soldier themselves, but I love the fact that Meridian Tech, they used the Tac Visor. They didn't need to use anything else. They forced Stevens College to line of sight. Now they have the Deadeye for this next fight to try and find this farmer's field.
But another minefield here from Soil Pal, getting those so quickly and finding Burning again. Although you saw that he got put down with that sleep dart by Eternal Flame. Eternal Flame gets denied, even though they just get res here by Jabers. Atomic has just been another level, being able to get into a flanking position to keep this pressure up into the backline of Meridian Tech.
Couple of ults burn there for Big Boofus. I don't think the Valkyrie's going to be enough to keep you alive in a 2-on-6 here, Mickey. Stevens College might just run this down if the respawns don't come through.
And look how much time they have, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, and they're still denying Meridian Tech from rolling in. Even the desperate swap from Burning onto the Doomfist. Can he get there on time now that Yakker's gone down too? None of Stevens College members have gone down just yet in this skirmish, and with this minefield, Meridian Tech can't even contest on the point without getting pressured.
They should be able to get in here. They, just barely take out Soup. The stall was good for Meridian Tech. They burn off about a minute, but after that first kind of couple hiccups, Vicky, we're trying to reset the Bastion, Stevens College has figured it out. And I will say, I think Soil Pal on this Wrecking Ball, he had a ton of disruption. As you point out, he kills Burning in the middle of his Deadeye right in that previous fight before this replay. This Wrecking Ball has really complemented what Atomic and Rachel are doing because it's not allowing the DPS of Meridian Technical to get their feet set and be able to aim up in the sky.
And it splits a lot of that attention away from Meridian Tech while they're so focused on Atomic and Rachel, having to deny Rachel the ability to heal Atomic up while Atomic is building up that Rocket Barrage. Soil Pal is in the backlines, putting down the minefields, splitting up the entirety of Meridian Tech. And I feel like having to maintain that focus in the air as well as the ground with Soil Pal taking these flanking positions, it's so difficult for Meridian Tech to kind of put a nail onto Atomic, who's been that threat looming over the skies.
It's just my one thought for Stevens College is Atomic's been great, and I'm not a huge fan to see them now swap off the far. I would have loved to see them kind of just run it until Meridian Tech has an answer. And if Meridian Tech wins a couple fights, I'm going to be curious if they are happy with swapping off of that far. Maybe they have a defense strategy, but it's one of those where it's been so powerful. I don't know why you would ever give it up if you're Stevens College.
I'm wondering if they just want to try out something new here, especially since they have the Bastion still coming in from Bubble. They want to stick with this composition, it seems, and they are running the double shield. So Atomic could use that teleporter from Symmetra to try to reposition the rest of Stevens College if they feel like Meridian Tech is pushing too far. We're going to have to see as they try to dominate both the low ground and the high ground on the other side, but they're actually taking an unorthodox approach, actually, kind of maintaining control over both sides of the car wash here. Look at the amount of damage output you're putting on to pressure out Meridian Tech when it comes to pushing that payload down the car wash.
Soup's going to look for a flank. I don't know if Stevens College is going to be expecting the Winston, but unfortunately, the rest of his team had all run away. That was a great attempt from Soup, but it looks like Meridian Tech wanted the reset because they would have swapped their comp to a bit more spam.
Soup saw the Symmetra turret setup and said, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to wait for the rest of my team before trying to go in for a flanking position. Now, as he has rejoined the rest of Meridian Tech, you can see how they try to approach this. You can see the teleport is set up too on the other side behind Soil Pal, so they're just dominating so much space in general in this car wash. I love this approach that I'm seeing from Stevens College, and look at the amount of poke pressure that Soil Pal is putting on with this double shield comp that we are currently seeing from Stevens College. Here comes the grab lift. Let's going to see as Meridian Technical get lifted up in the air. That's going to be a lot of damage that they don't have any mortality field to negate that. They have a coalescence coming up, which is going to be crucial here from Gerbers.
Force the Valkyrie out from Eternal Flame just to keep everybody healthy, but they do get the first pick on Rachel. This is the go moment, I think, here, Vicky, for Meridian Tech.
Yeah, they don't have that nano boost now, and that's going to be great for Meridian Tech as they have the coalescence to deny that. They have the Junkrat for so much pressure, and I like the swap and the adaptation that we're seeing from Meridian Tech because this Junkrat is going to do so much more damage in enclosed space, which is exactly where Stevens College is stationed. The flanking though, the Riptire? Oh, the Riptire now actually helped out Big Foofus in that situation, taking out Lithia. Stevens College, they had a great plan, but Meridian Tech has just dissected that as they're on the way to that first point.
And Meridian Tech, I mean, they never really tried to just team fight Stevens College down there. They just basically pushed them back far enough that they just snuck the payload right past the car wash. I've never seen that. They didn't really ever win that fight. They just walked right past Stevens College because Stevens College had to retreat to try and heal up all that damage.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, that was all from the Junkrat swap that we saw Meridian Tech make so quick off of just losing that first fight alone, and that quick adaptation is something that we have to know from Meridian Tech as they did sneak in first map, but the Shatter's gonna get denied, and the Photon Barrier to help Stevens College approach there. So with using that Shatter, they know that Meridian Tech doesn't have that isolating tool from Soup. The grab lift is gonna be enough to nail the coffin in for Soup's life, and now with 3 members down from Meridian Tech, Stevens College have the number advantage, they still have that supercharger, and they have not used that nano boost, so they're saving some of these ults going into that next point.
Yeah, nano boost and tank form, I assume, is the combo that Stevens College is looking to set up here. Burning, trying to figure out. He had the great Junkrat pick, ended up trying to Tracer. That one didn't work. There's the Hanzo that you and I had talked about before this match started. And we get a teleporter down. The Tomic's teleporters have been very sneaky, Vicky, and it allows the team to have that added mobility. We'll see if they can win this fight, though, going into a couple of ultimates with just the tank form for Bumblebee to carry the damage.
Yeah, what I like is that it's allowing the rest of Stevens College to take the high ground, and now Atomic is trying to build up that damage with that Symmetra beam, trying to isolate Rachel at the same, or rather Eternal Flame at the same time as now Meridian Tech have that Valve. They have those Roadhog ult. They're sending everybody in back, but he gets stunned by the accretion. The rock actually stopped him in his boots, but Meridian Tech have the number advantage. They claim Bumblebee, and that's the downside when you do want to commit to running this composition. Now they're staggered too. The hook is going to send Stevens College back, but this is great news for Meridian Tech because look at that time bank. You're at 4 minutes and they're already controlling the next phase. Oh no, not Mango going down. He has the Amp Matrix, he's got the Immortality Field, but this is so much time wasted away from Stevens College to get this defense set up.
I like the swap here for Atomic. Go back to the Pharah as your last ditch effort. But as you said, there's a ton of time. This payload hasn't even been contested yet. It's almost around the final corner here. They gotta start with an Amp Matrix though.
The Amp Matrix is going to be respected as it should here with Meridian Tech still trying to control that corner, not trying to be too overly aggressive. This grab lift is going to send Big Foofus up into the heavens, but the damage output is way too much to survive through as Bumblebee now has free reign over this corner to control this next phase.
Good news here for Stevens College is unless they try and take that sliver of high ground right kind of above the payload up to the right, their biggest issue is they just see the payload sneak right under them. Happened on point 1, point 2, it just kind of got snuck under the high ground. That's been Stevens College's, I think, kind of issue is they've lost control of the payload. Let's see if Bumblebee can hold it here standing on top of the tank.
He does have that hold too. But the thing is, Burning is on this Hanzo. We were talking about this Hanzo before, but look how much damage is being put out between Bumblebee finding Jaybers and Yacker. That's going to be 2 members down from Meridian. Make it through. Big Poop is being the initial one to go down here. They're being sent all the way to their spawn right now, Fish. And that time bank that they had has now dwindled away before their eyes, with Stevens College still having the advantage at 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
College has that supercharger, though Soup, if he can land a big shatter here, he was instrumental on control. Can he do something here for his team? With the shatter available, they have the tack visor to combo it with. There's nothing up for Stevens College except the supercharger that gets thrown down.
Yes, the shatter, and now the coalescence can't keep Soup alive. Knock, knock, here comes Soup, though, being right in the middle of the action. The anti, the immediate retaliation from Rachel, who has also made their safe set of swaps themselves as Rachel is about to get that nano boost. Atomic does get taken out right before that rocket barrage is coming in online, but the way that Stevens College is playing around this payload and this corner is so well. Both Elithia having such great synergy with Soil Pow has allowed them both to really run amok with this double shield composition. And look at this ult bank that we're seeing from Stevens College. They're about to have the rocket barrage. They have the transcendence to help negate the damage that Meridian Tech desperately needs with only a minute and 30 seconds on the clock, and this gravity lift that's going to be putting on so much damage.
Meridian Tech doesn't have any ult besides the whole hog as Eternal Frame already is down. I think you got to disengage here, Vicky, because you're running out of time if you're Meridian Tech.
Exactly, and nobody stopped Mango too. No one's been able to go onto Stevens College flank because they've been so fixated on taking care of Atomic. They have Burning for that close quarter damage, but is it going to be enough now that Yacker is still on that hit scan to try to pick off Atomic, but they haven't really been able to find another opportunity to split that attention away from Stevens College in the backline.
Now it's Meridian Tech's going to have to make sure they cap this with some time on the clock. They only have the whole hog, and Stevens College is staggered also well. They can pick between Tank Form and Rocket Barrage to start this fight.
Goodness, that halt was absolutely huge. It wasted the Immortality Field, which gave them the green light to use the Rocket Barrage. It's found Yacker again. The one counter pick to Atomic. Now, with this coalescence, Japers gets hit with an anti. He can't heal himself. The rest of Meridian Tech won't be able to use that coalescence now that Japers goes down. Stevens College, they look at the time bank. They know there's less than 30 seconds left for Meridian Tech to get anything done. And they're limited on their ults right now. They really only have big Boopus ults with that whole hog as well as that Riptire from Burning.
There's the Riptire. You've got to get a miracle Riptire here from out in nowhere, Vicky, if they want to win this fight.
But the issue is this Transcendence is going to deny a lot of that damage. The Transcendence is supposed to save everybody. But what happened around the corner? The Riptire has found Rachel. Atomic goes down. Nobody was safe. And now the last five Meridian Tech is working with no time in the time bank. Overwatch taking away.
They should be able to get it. They have the body blocks going. It's the tank form for Bumblebees has got to save the day for Stevens College.
I'm getting a hit of deja vu right now with Meridian Tech now being able to send Stevens College back to the spawn, winning this fight. Meridian Tech has not lost a member since winning that momentum train around the corner. The Immortality Field, this is exactly what they need, and they only had 2 ults to do it, Fish, but they did it. With no time in the time bank, they are going to be able to secure themselves 60 seconds extra, but is that going to be enough to contest Stevens College that have a minute and 20 seconds more of a time bank than Meridian Tech? We're going to have to see that.
I mean, I have to say no. I mean, especially if Stevens College just comes out with the Pharah again, it doesn't look like Meridian Tech has a great consistent answer for it. I will be concerned about how Stevens College defends on this map. They kind of lost sight of the payload a couple times from point 1 to point 2, and in overtime, Meridian Tech's done a great job of sticking on it. So Stevens College defense worries me with how well they attack, how well Atomic has been playing this Pharah. Man, I gotta say that extra time, plus just how they've been playing, I feel like Stevens College should be able to take this.
Honestly, the way that Stevens College has been playing, usually this is the team that has the advantage from the very beginning. I feel like Meridian Tech is very quick to adjust, make those quick hero swaps. But I feel like with Burning, making those adjustments, going from the Junkrat to the Hanzo, and now looking like we're starting off with the Pharah, we may have an airborne battle going on here, but or Stevens College decided to flip the script on us and actually go for exactly what Meridian Tech was going for, and Atomic actually maybe sticking to this Hanzo.
Oh no, especially not in overtime. I think you just gotta rip the Pharah until you can't get it to work anymore, but we'll see. Atomic has been so good this series, so if there's somebody who maybe counter Yacker in the air, it would be Atomic. So far, that's a ton of damage going up onto the high ground for Stevens College.
But with this different approach that we're also seeing from Stevens College, they have the Torb. The turret was already getting denied, but this damage output that we're currently seeing from Yacker, I like this Echo Swap. It's going to change things up a little bit here. That Stevens College needs to make that adjustment, because now it's Atomic's job here to deny a lot of that burst damage that Yacker's is going to put down from the heavens.
Oh, Yacker's just... Yacker hasn't even been touched yet. I don't think that health bar has dropped below 200 at all. Finally gets hit, but they're just kind of running it down Stevens College's throat right now. And
now isolating Atomic there too. That was the biggest threat to Yacker's, and with Atomic down, you don't really have anything to Yacker's behind it. Mango wanted to try to fill up Olympia. With Olympia going down, that's the main tank, not creating the space for Stevens College. Overtime ticking away, but it's all good here for Meridian Tech as they claim this first control point. But now they have to stay on the payload. They cannot get off this payload whatsoever. And quickly, with Meridian Tech, they have Soup with this grab lift, so they're going to try to keep Stevens College at bay. But so does Soil Pal, and it just really takes that one grab lift to ruin all the plans for Meridian Tech.
I want to see Stevens College take the fight on the payload. They just gave Meridian Technical so much space. I mean, they really never lost a fight. They just kept backing up, and now that the clock's on 0, you only have to win in one fight. Maybe you force a C9 from Meridian Technical. I think you just fight on the payload, but they're just giving them all the space in the world right now.
Yeah, they wanted to regroup here just before making this approach. They don't want to stagger out, and with Atomic making the swap over to the Pharah, it's lethal for Atomic to stay alive, but with that kick, Bergen's gonna get Riptire. Can he get something big? Yes, he does! He finds 2 with the Riptire. We have Meridian Tech now in the advantage, in the driver's seat, taking the second point. They need to be stopped, or else Stevens College, all their efforts get sent down the drain.
I did not have this in my thoughts at all. That Meridian Technical, with a minute on the clock after having to get the time extension, is looking to maybe 3-cap here in overtime, Vicky. I mean, they have not been stopped. They are going to come up on a couple of balls as well. Stevens College is a big pick here.
Oh, and the hook into pulling them right out of the safety of the shield. Mango with the Transcendence, but Olympia was the first to go down in that entire transaction. Eternal Flame is going to get traded. Prophetic Flux now coming in from Soup. Meridian Techno, they're losing heads and they're losing them fast. So much damage output here, but they're finding these trades with Bumblebee going down. They don't really have to worry about the Torb or the multi-Torb. Won't be able to control that space. It's really up to Olympia. And the first one to go down is now move all the way up. Look at the Supercharger and all the damage that is dealing though. Meridian Tech, they had something going for them, but Stevens College has now finally been able to hold them back, but they still were able to take 2 points right before being held.
Trying to hold on as long as they can. I think they're finally going to force them off the point. Going to get 2 points. I mean, this is no longer a walk in the park for Stevens College if this is indeed the last fight, with the grab probably ending it. I don't know how Stevens College, if they're going to be able to make it this far. 2 points and almost halfway to the last one's pretty impressive.
We're talking up Stevens College time bank and the advantage that they had in comparison to Meridian Tech, but we were not expecting Meridian Tech to gain that early game momentum coming out of the gates here. While on the attack, they were able to control so much of that space that Stevens College respected them for. You're saying it perfectly, actually, Fish. They were giving a lot of that space over to Meridian Tech, and while they wanted to regroup there, Burning on the Junkrat was able to get 2 picks off of that Riptire, make it 3 after initially taking care of Atomic off of that high ground. And that would have been lethal because Atomic wanted to look for that Rocket Barrage, to build into that Rocket Barrage just in case Meridian Tech had actually gotten that second point.
I like this pick for Burning here as well on the Bastion. I mean, we talked about, the playbook for countering the Pharah 99% of the time is the Soldier and the Cassie, but there's always the Bastion that can just rip apart a pharmacy from the sky. I'm curious what Burning will do, because if they're able to kill Atomic, yes, they have 3 minutes and 20 seconds, which is 3 times as much as Meridian Technical has, but this comp really functions around Atomic, Vicky. So I think if Burning is able to make a good play, and it's shocked me that it's taken this long for them to maybe try and pull out the Bastion as the counter, they might be able to hold them if they can just keep clipping Atomic's wings off the spawn.
Yeah, and I like how you pointed out, because Burning, they saw that Stevens College were the ones to try out the Bastion composition first, but right now we also noticed that the Ana was detrimental to this, and he melted Atomic out of the gates. I think this is going to let Stevens College know that they're going to have to make some swaps here to contest Burning on this Bastion pick. They used up the res here from Mango to get Atomic back up, but with some of these swaps here, you have to imagine that Rachel is going to narrow down that focus onto Burning, put him to sleep, prevent a lot of that damage output to give the space over to Atomic to close in that gap.
I like the angle Burning had. Now they all jump off the high ground. Stevens College trying to sneak underneath, and here's Burning uncontested.
And Burning jumping off of the high ground on the other side too to have much more of the enemy in their line of sight. Good a push from Burning, but look at these flanking positions that we're seeing from Stevens College. They know where Burning is. They're trying to isolate him while the rest of Meridian Tech is so fixated on controlling the front line.
Atomic has got to get a pick, but Burning, the positioning is so strong right now. Just has these tiny little windows that he's able to peek through. I don't know what Stevens College could do, especially with Bumblebee not on something like a Tracer. He's got to get right up in his face on a Soldier. That's going to make it even harder.
It's difficult with Meridian Tech now actually disengaging. I like this call from them because they knew that the high ground was going to go in favor to Stevens College, especially with this bunker comp that Meridian Tech wants to go for. But they have to do something about Atomic, who's pushing all the way into their face, into this first point. Now with this Baptistal Eternal Flame is trying to control that space and in favor of Meridian Tech, and it works. Look at this, look at Burning getting the 3K, getting it a 4K. They've already cleaned up Stevens College with that grapple, pulling him all the way towards Big Boofus. Stevens College are been sent back to the spawn, and look at the amount of ults that Meridian Tech were able to build up without having to use it for that last fight.
Yeah, the Tac Visor just gives Burning a little bit of an extra backup in case they find a way to kill him, but his positioning was so supreme. He backs up. Atomic and Bumblebee start looking for other pick targets. He's getting pocketed as well, and Atomic going down. That's your whole comp.
Exactly, and the rocket barrage is going to be online for Atomic, and with another res used up for Atomic, that's going to deny another member of Stevens College from being rezzed up by Mango. So that Valve is going to have to help keep the rest of Stevens College together, or we're going to be moving on to a map number 3 if Stevens College can't get that same momentum that we saw for Meridian Tech. Here comes the rocket barrage. Look at Big Boofus with the whole hog, denying it completely. Great trade here as the Bastion goes down, but with Japers being alive, they get Bastion right back up. They get Burning into this fight, and Stevens College used everything that they had there, minus Attack Visor and the Nano Boots, but they used that Rocket Barrage, and Atomic now making the quick swap over to the Sombra.
And I know I was on the Atomic Fire train, but clearly Meridian Technical has figured out the counter. It has been burning on the Bastion, so I like the swap. Of course, they need the mobility from the Sombra with 18 seconds left. Maybe gets a big hack on the Bastion here.
That's the deniability here from Burning. They know that Burning has been that one threat here for Meridian Tech in this competition. Atomic on the Sombra gets the hack, completely denies Burning. Can he finish off this big now with the full attack visors going off? Stevens College, they win the trade. They find Burning first. Yakkers goes down right alongside him as Soil Cow with those mines has been able to deny so much space away from Meridian Tech. Overtime now taking away all that advantage that Stevens College built up for themselves. It's gone down the drain, but they need to hold back Meridian Tech here.
Boofus with another kill. Mango rezzing Rachel. It's going to be less DPS. Now get a whole hog. This could end it here.
Oh, you see Stevens College now on their flank. Big Boofus with another great whole hog, but he's been kept alive for so long by Javers. The deniability with the anti, but he still finds Rachel right after getting anti. That hook has been so lethal. Big Boofus is on another terror run. Can we find Big Boofus here, or is he going to single-handedly take out the rest of Stevens College? He can't survive any longer after Javers was forced to hold back, gets taken out in the middle of that fight. They held on for so long, but look at this overtime now ticking down for Stevens College after they had the time advantage originally.
And I don't expect... Ooh, that's a bad pick there for Meridian Technical. I don't expect Meridian Technical to give up all the space that Stevens College did, but potentially they will. They are going to be hamstring as well, as it's the baby diva that's out right now, so they're going to have to let that mech suit build back up. But Big Boofus, my gosh, you called it, Vicky. He held that point for probably like 30 seconds by himself, and he is not missing hooks on key targets. It's up to Mango and Rachel to stay out of line of sight of that Roadhog.
was like watching a bunch of domino pieces just fall one after the other. Whenever Big Boofus is in town, you have to look for your back. Bumblebee gets hooked, gets taken out. You saw that damage output too that Gibraltar was helping Big Boofus with, and now Big Boofus is about to get another whole hog to hold back the rest of Stevens College. That means that that's going to deny them the ability to stay on his cart, and with overtime taken away, that's going to be lethal here.
Burning is on the... No one has looked at Burning on this Tracer yet. This flank has been huge.
Stevens College, they have the time advantage, but they don't have the number advantage now. Overtime gone, and Meridian Tech stay in this series, taking map number 2 to even everything out.
Oh man, Stevens College, they are really, really strong, Vicky, on their one comp. The pharmacy comp, they are so strong on. The problem is, when they're forced off that pharmacy, either due to a good bastion or just due to the lack of verticality, they don't have an answer for mainly Burning, who I thought was very impressive, and Big Boofus. I'm concerned as we go into map 3, which I just got word is Volskaya, that if Farah gets denied, this comp's going to fall apart for Stevens College.
This is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what hit scan we're also going to see from Stevens College going into Volskaya, because the adjustments that we've been seeing from Meridian Tech with Burning, first starting things off with the McCree, with then going over to the Junkrat, and then now making the swap over to the Bastion. Overall, Meridian Tech, their entire play has been to adjust themselves around Stevens College, but doing so quickly, playing at a disadvantage in that second point for Watchpoint, and then being able to turn the tides, maintaining that defense was so crazy to watch from Meridian Tech, because they're showing off to Stevens College that they could definitely deny that one trump card that Stevens College has had with Atomic being on that Farah.
And I think the other thing is, we talked about on map 1 that ended up going Stevens College's way. It's a lot of Soup and everyone else. It was Soup saving them with the Deadeye. Soup ends up getting moved over to the tank role for that map. I was a little hesitant. Yacker played okay, but Big Boofus just showed up. I mean, hook after hook after hook, and it's going to put so much pressure because as a support, you already have so many things going on. Health bars, everything else. Now all of a sudden, you're trying to find out, where's the Roadhog? Because he can kill you from anywhere as long as he's in range. Big Boofus has shown to me that this Meridian Tech team has a second option, and anytime your tank is a lethal threat, Vicky, that makes your team so much more scary.
It's crazy. You said it perfectly. The way that Big Boofus played at the very end, he took away so much out of the time bank that Stevens College desperately needed to hold on to. But it is what it is as we go on to a map number 3 here. Stevens College, they had the advantage from the get-go. They had the advantage in map number 2, but Escort just fell right through their hands as we move on to Volskaya. Salt map type here as Meridian Tech could try to get onto the high ground, control some of that space already from the get-go. But look at this composition that we're seeing from Stevens College already. They're still running the Bastion. They have the Symmetra. They're going to be able to teleport right behind Meridian Tech.
Is that a 6-man ante? I think the Turtle just hit a 6-man ante!
Oh, so on point with those antes and those accretion kills coming in from Burning. We talk about swapping some of these positions here, Fish, but Burning can just do it all, it seems, here, from adjusting within the DPS lineup, adjusting within the tank lineup. Meridian Tech were playing from the low ground, and they still denied Stevens College approach.
I will never know how Eternal from the low ground just hit a 6-man ante on a full high grounded team and basically won that fight. And Burning picked up the kills. And I mean, now you're looking at Meridian Tech and it's Soup, it's Burning, it's Eternal Flame. You're running out of options that you can pick on if you're Stevens College.
And look at this ult pick that we're seeing from Meridian Tech off of that fight alone. Another accretion pick onto Bumblebee. Bumblebee is not having a time of their life. The immortality field's been used up, but Stevens College is literally trickling onto this point, and this allows Meridian Tech to hold on to all of these ults. Once Stevens College makes those adjustments, once they try to contest with their old ults, they're going to have to be facing a wall of a 5-man ult team that is coming in from Meridian Tech.
I like the call here from Atomic. Go back to the Farah. It's worked so far. Try it one more time. But as you said, yeah, 5 ults coming up. Soup can easily build this Deadeye on Cassidy in 2 or 3 shots, depending on how much damage you can do. Meridian Tech's going to have their buffet choice of ultimates they want to throw out to try and win a couple of fights.
We're going to have to see if any of Stevens College wants to fight from that buffet. The Shatter going in to deny the animation and the nano boost to keep Big Boofus alive. If he was scary already on the Hog, look at him swinging the hammer on the Reinhardt. He denies Atomic. He denies Stevens College. They use up that Ant Matrix, so now they don't have the Ant Matrix to match the Meridian Tech, and that's what we were talking about before that fight, because look how they cycle through his ultimates. They only use the Nano Boost, and they only use the Shatter in the Valve, so they still have 3 ults ready for this next approach from Stevens College.
And Big Boof is already at 50% on the Shatter. I mean, there's not anything really stopping him from maybe having a Shatter in the middle of this next fight as well. Atomic's got to be the hero here. The Rocket Barrage at 75%. Maybe you get a big flank if you don't get taken out by the Deadeye or the Back Visor, but that's how Stevens College wins this.
I like the approach from Soil Pal, though, trying to approach the high ground there. You saw the pile driver, but no one looked at Soup on the high ground with the Deadeye. That's going to deny your main comp that you use as an anchor between Atomic and Rachel going down. You don't have one of your support players. Atomic won't have Rocket Barrage. It's going to have to be a full reset here from Stevens College if Soil Pal can get away.
Hello.
And again, Meridian Tech, they handle it all so well. They win that fight with just the Deadeye. Now they still have Burning and Yakker's ult. They're probably going to have another Nano Shatter combo for this last fight as well in Stevens College. Soil Pal's been playing great. They're going to need an insane minefield, hopefully getting a pick onto Yakker if they want to even have progress on point A here.
I'm in danger. I'm just looking here. Stevens College with that Rocket Barrage is going to be lethal here, but the minefield's coming in from Soil Pal. The Rocket Barrage coming in from the front. That's going to be an explosive sandwich that Stevens College is laying out for Meridian Tech. But look at the amount of time that has been wasted away from Stevens College. They finally claimed this point. They finally proved Meridian Tech off, but they need to get everybody off entirely, or else this overtime is going to take away. They get the first tick. They're going to get the second tick, but all this time been gone away. Stevens College still have an entirely other point to get through.
And they're once again going to go into 5 ultimates for Meridian Tech as they do get the 3-minute extension, but Meridian Tech is the team usually assault. You can snowball from A to B with a ton of ults. Meridian Tech, who's been so patient, can easily win the next 2 or 3 fights, Vicky, if they stagger these ults well.
We have to see, with the way that Meridian Tech is cycling through their ults, they're doing such an amazing job. They're about to have the Valve too, so a 6-man team ready with their ults. See the Shatter online for Big Boopus. He's waiting for the opportunity for Stevens College, but I like this approach from Stevens College. Coming in from the high ground, though, Soup is still going to deny Atomic. You were talking about this, but a huge Diva Bomb coming in from Olympia. What a saving grace from the heavens from Stevens College. This is going to deny everything from Meridian Tech. Look at those ults that they're still holding on to. They recognize the situation. They know that the spawn point is right behind them. They still have another shot.
The minefield is great denial. The last 2 ults from Meridian Tech. Here's the Tac Visor plus the Nano.
But he's getting denied. Look at these minefields. He can't even get to the point. He can only use Attack Visor from far away. That's fine. Here's Eternal Flame to play off of the back end. But what a way for Meridian Tech to utilize those ults to turn the tides in their favor, because Stevens College, they had the advantage right there, the man advantage, as well as the fact that they had the ult advantage building up in their favor. But Meridian Tech, the saving grace right there, even though they didn't have the minefields to block them, they still have that Attack Visor from Yakkers to deny that space for them.
And I love how Stevens College approached Big Boop. We've been singing his praises, and for good reason. They took all of the high ground to get to B. They do not want to fall victim to the Shatter. They countered it perfectly. We'll see what the early Tac Visor can do.
And with this approach, they know that the Shatter's ready. They know that they have to look out for it, but the 3K from Atomic, the Rocket Barrage finding 3 heads from Meridian Tech. They can't even use the Shatter because Big Boopus is off of the field. Soup is gonna beat them soon into spawn, but Meridian Tech, again, their spawn point is right behind Stevens College. They have to wipe out this point quickly, or they're gonna be contesting again.
They get a double kill. There's the Shatter, though. It doesn't. It only hits Mango. That denies the sound barrier, though.
Oh, that's absolutely huge. Yeah, they won't have the sound barrier now, but with this res, Mango's gonna absolutely use the sound barrier immediately after coming back alive. Look at the spin to win from Soil Pal, trying to deny the space away from Meridian Tech. Another Diva Bomb to find Eternal Flame. Olympia has been on point with those Diva Bombs, controlling so much of that space.
Though the spawn's right there. Another revive on the Big Boop, if they can just kill time if you're Meridian Technical. These minefields for Soil Pal have been insane and triple kill.
Soil Pal has been ruthless. That was also the 3rd minefield that we have seen from Soil Pal in this fight alone since they tried to initially take this point. He's denied so much space here from both Meridian Tech in their spawn points too, and now Stevens College with the time dwindling down. You see Meridian Tech holding onto their life onto this point, trying to deny as much time away from Stevens College as they can.
They need to cap this to be able to guarantee that they can't lose this map of regulation, and they pull it off with zeros. You and I were worried, Mickey, after they couldn't even get point A with time on the clock. They managed to play that perfectly. Soil Pal, as you said, is Lithia with an insane Diva Bomb. They just chained their ults together so well, fight after fight for Stevens College.
And what's crazy is how long this fight went on for. Even more impressive for Meridian Tech to deny that time and to contest for as long as possible, to take away that time bank, to force it into overtime for Stevens College. And that inevitably puts pressure onto Stevens College in that last fight alone. But like you said, the way that Soil Pal denied the space with the minefields, and the way that Atomic was able to put in so much pressure and get so much value off of that rocket barrage, allowed Stevens College to finally clutch out that point B. But Meridian Tech, though, from the very first game has made such impressive adjustments to contest this composition that we've been seeing from Stevens College.
And I was worried for Stevens College. You can remember, this is a new team coming into our Rumble. Meridian Technical's coming off a second place finish. This is not an easy opening game, and this series has been insanely close. And I mean, it feels like we're destined for overtime on Volskaya. It's a great performance for Stevens College. They have definitely shown, Vicky, they're going to be a scary team going forward in this Rumble because they are making Meridian Tech pull out everything. We've seen swaps. We've seen, and basically everyone has played tanky DPS at this point. I really like what Stevens College has shown us here in this first game of our Week 3 Rumble.
It really forces teams like Meridian Tech to have different compositions that they can play, to have the ability to deny Stevens College strong suit, which has been the pharmacy here so far. But you have to imagine Soil Power and Lithia enabling that too, but Soup being on this Symmetra, they are going to be able to teleport onto the high ground. I love this quick composition that they have Yakkers on the Bastion, but losing Big Poopus is going to be their anchor going down, as that shield is necessary within this composition.
They have to already teleport away. Yakker not getting near as much value. I like what they did. They knew Stevens College was going to come out with the pharmacy. They said we have to play the Bastion because that's what's wanted for it. But that was burning on the Bastion, not Yakker. He hasn't gotten near as much value.
Yeah, so far hasn't been able to really do much here, and now the teleporter has been denied. It's been destroyed, and Stevens College are playing this behind too to try to deny a lot of that controlled space that Yakkers wants to build for the rest of Meridian Tech. Now with another teleporter, Stu tries to bring everybody onto the high ground, but it gets denied again. These pile drivers from Soil Pal, and now the minefield is going to force Meridian Tech to hold back. Maybe use another teleporter, but look at the amount of damage output that has been done by those minefields alone.
They did get a back pick onto Atomic, so there's no rocket barrage in this fight and no res for Rachel. This could be a scary moment for Stevens College as they're losing members left and right.
That's 4 heads down originally, with Atomic being the first one to go down for Stevens College. Not enough heads to actually contest here on the points. An accretion getting sent from the left field to deny Stevens College from even pushing on the point. The Lithia goes down, and Meridian Tech are going to be able to get this first point with so much time in the time bank, which is going to be so scary for Stevens College to deal with. They're going to have to hold back that second point with extra time in the time bank for Meridian Tech.
And that was probably the first rocket barrage that Atomic hasn't picked up a kill or two on. It was a great job by Soup, even though they're not on the hit scan on the Symmetra, picking off Atomic, forcing the swap, and now they have 5 minutes. You look at the clock, they were coming up on 3 ultimates, but Soup ends up swapping over to the Cassidy, so they'll still have both their tank ults. The tank form for Yakker should be online here soon as well. This is the snowball that a lot of teams can use to start rolling on Assault here, especially if Big Boofus can drop a supercharger and help everybody else catch up on those ult percentages.
Yeah, those old charge difference right here for Meridian Tech is going to allow them to have the advantage from the get-go. You can see Soil Pal, though, with the minefields to at least try to contest them, forcing the rest of Meridian Tech off of that high ground with that pile driver, doing such a good job at disrupting the piece. So it's actually going to put a dent to Meridian Tech's plans, but they're okay with this. They're okay with taking this slowly. Look at the time bank. They have 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and nearly all their ults are online, with Yakkers nearing 100% with their very own ult. That's going to be a 5-man team with all their ults here going into this next approach.
Yeah, the fact they saved their ults makes me think that exactly what you said, Vicky. They're probably going to go for some sort of layered 5 ultimate attempt here, because Soup, with the Deadeye, I mean, he can do enough damage without the Deadeye to be able to provide value for the team. So it's going to be up to Bumblebees. Maybe you get a big tack visor, but how they layer these ultimates for Meridian Technical is really going to determine the side of the fight, and they're going to start with the Supercharger.
as well as the disruption that Soil Powell's been able to put down with that Powell driver. Here's the Gravitic Flex coming in from Burning, though, just trying to find somebody hiding in the house, but doesn't find a single soul, as the rest of Stevens College actually are playing this so spread out. They're forcing Meridian Tech to split all their attention from the left and to the right, but Eternal Flame gets rest. So it's going to be Volskaya still in the fight here for Meridian Tech. It's going to be lethal now as they lost Big Rufus, and Amp Matrix could allow them all the space that they need to allow Big Rufus to come back after making that swap. Stevens College, they're dropping like flies, and they don't have the nano boost here. It's really up to Soil Power and these minefields to deny that space, and nobody stopped burning it too.
Bumble Heavies has the tack visor online. We might get another tack nano this time from Stevens College potentially, but he just gets gunned down.
Oh no, Yacker is going in 3K as Big Rufus coming in from the respawn, coming in, almost swapping over to Ball. They cannot lose this here. They won't be able to contest, and the time differentiation between Meridian Tech and Stevens College is big here with 2 minutes and 46 seconds in their time ban.
I mean, the big thing here, you see the replay, Stevens College does not have a Bastion answer. They don't have someone like a Tracer or a Doomfist to get right up in his face. They didn't even get to have an ult from Bumblebees, who just got eliminated. Yacker, a little bit slower than Burning to have an impact, but if Meridian Technical, if they just keep bringing out a Bastion, I think they're going to win in overtime. I mean, the time difference alone favors them greatly, but Stevens College, they seem like a one-comp team, and that comp does not handle a Bastion well.
Yeah, we saw them try to make some adjustments over in Watchpoint for map number 2, where we had seen Atomic go on the Sombra, we had seen Rachel have a high impact on the Ana, both heroes that could put in a dent into Yacker's plan with the Bastion, but it's a matter of that execution that Stevens College wants to go for, because it seems here that Meridian Tech has been the one ahead of the game when it comes to making those adapted swaps and their composition swaps as well. So Stevens College needs to get on board with that, because their composition that they're really strong with has allowed them to have much success, but it's these adjustments around Meridian Tech's DPS lineup that has been holding them back a lot.
Now Meridian Tech will flirt with the potential Pharah. Stevens College has the Junkrat, which, you know, they do at least have the Torbjorn turrets, but they're not going to have a great way to deal with Soup, who we've seen really pop off on DPS like Cassidy. Meridian Tech just needs one tick on the objective to be able to come back and win this best of 3. We'll see what they can do in this first fight.
What's scary here is that Meridian Tech is taking a page out of Stevens College book, and they're running the Pharah, and Stevens College don't really have much of an answer against that Pharah other than playing in this close quarter space, but this is what they want. They want to bait Meridian Tech into coming into this close quarter space with Atomic being on this Junkrat. Look at the damage output that we are seeing from Stevens College just with Atomic being on this Junkrat, but this is great now that Meridian Tech have the number advantage in their favor. They're going to be able to trade Yacker for Atomic. They're going to be able to try to utilize J-Burst to build up this coalescence for this next approach. As you see Stevens College just trickled inside of that room. No one's giving any attention or thought to Bumblebee, though, who's going to be able to build up this molten core.
Soup is back. They did catch Eternal Flame out, so there's no res, so Stevens College should be able to settle in. Atomic, I like the Junkrat, but I understand the Soldier just for the mobility, but as you pointed out, Vicky, you look at the ults, there's 3 basically online here for Meridian Tech, unless they make any swaps with the Shadow, the Rocket Barrage, and the Valkyrie. Stevens College, they only have the Transcendence close, otherwise they're not going to have much more than 2-3 ults in this next fight. Meridian Technical should be able to maybe 5-man ult this and just win the game with their time pick.
What's going to be so important here is Rachel staying alive. Rachel needs to have the immortality field to deny this Rocket Barrage, to deny this Shadow that's going to come in, but no Transcendence. Nobody in the backline because Snoop is there to contest you with the Rocket Barrage, finding 2 Eternal Flame, gets Yacker back in, so Meridian Tech have all the number advantage in their favor and want an overkill with that Shadow to send Stevens College all the way back to the spawn, so close, but Meridian Tech, they're the ones that come out on top after so many different comp switches to try to contest Stevens College.
Absolutely phenomenal, and you know, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills, and we just saw that. We saw a great job by Stevens College for most of that map, but finally, Meridian Tech figured out the comp they needed to run. They pulled it off. Esports Tower really takes time to create teams of well-matched teammates. I want to give a shout-out to all of the coaches, especially Paulo, for putting it all together. And if you're watching, you haven't checked out Esports Tower Clubs yet, you should. It is the fast track to rank up. A crazy back and forth series here just in our first game, Mickey. We still have more series ahead of us. We'll see how the rest of it goes. We are not going to give Meridian Tech much of a break, though. They barely survived against Stevens College. When we come back, they'll have to take on the Everest, who are the top of the top. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the Everest and Meridian Tech in our second game of our Week 3 or Esports Tower Overwatch Rumbles coming up right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back into this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. We started out Week 3 with a crazy series between Meridian Tech and our newcomer, Stevens College. Thought Stevens College would pull off the upset, but in the end, Meridian Tech was able to figure out the comp to counter that Pharah and end up winning the game. And we're not going to give Meridian Tech any time off. They're coming back against their nemesis, the Everest of the Esports Tower. I am Fish, joined by Vicky Kitty to call all of the action. And Vicky, this was our grand finals matchup in Week 2. It was Meridian Tech and the Everest. The Everest took care of business, and the Everest have been the top dog. They have been the back-to-back Rumble winners. Everybody wants a piece of them. And after that marathon game, you have to wonder how much Meridian Tech has left in the tank for a crazy series.
Yeah, you can only imagine that Meridian Tech right now is all fired up. They're looking for the run back right now versus Everest. So we're going to have to see if that last series was enough to fire them up, because with that close series, I can only imagine what the rest of the games are going to look like.
And again, Everest have been so strong. Meridian Tech holding off Stevens College. A ton of great teams here in this Rumble. We haven't even seen the other Esports Tower teams. But before we kick off this Rumble event, this week 3 matchup, we do want to take a moment to congratulate all of our Esports Tower club members who have graduated from the clubs. They've been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower club members have received over $1.6 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked harder on their in-game play, but have worked hard academically and have earned these scholarship opportunities. We could not be more excited and proud to see all the opportunities that all of these players are getting. Again, $1.6 billion, an absolutely crazy number, and I'm sure it's only going to grow because, again, we've seen some crazy games already, Vicky, and that was only the first series. It felt like we just watched like a whole week of Overwatch in one best of 3 series.
That's the best way to describe it too. Seeing all this talent from all these teams really highlights the competition currently, and also highlights where Everest is as a team, where they lie, because when you have to contest teams like Meridian Tech, who fell in 2nd place just in week number 2, has it been enough for Meridian Tech to actually make those adjustments to contest Everest, or are we going to have the same situation where Everest is just going to dominate the competition?
We will have to see. Hey, we'll help out Meridian Tech or maybe the Everest too, though I don't know if they need it. We'll throw it over to Doc. Keys of the game presented by the Esports Tower. Remember, you can score pro advice at esportstower.com. Again, if you want to beat the Everest, you have got to run with Doc, and that is to never take a fair fight. What does that mean? It means take fights in unexpected places. When they are unprepared, you have to have tempo. You have to know when you want to go, and you can't leave one person out on an island. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Let's hop in to our rematch of last Rumble's grand finals. The Everest taking on Meridian Tech. We'll start on Nepal, and we'll see if someone can finally knock off the Everest or if they can remain at the top. As we see Meridian Tech, fatigue always got to be a question, Mickey, especially after you play what was like an hour-plus match. And now you're going up against the best team. Again, eyes on Diamond Dog, eyes on Panda Squad. Those two can absolutely take over a game for the Everest.
Right, and I believe looking at what Everest is bringing out here, they have added a new tank player to their lineup, and I believe this is going to be the first Rumble with them, so that's going to be a big deal, as well as the fact that their DPS have been improving, have been leading with more off-angle control, so it's going to be a different look from Everest, as you can already see Meridian Tech getting into position to contest them by the stairways on the right side of the map.
Steel Claw is also in for Meridian Tech, so maybe fatigue forcing them to bring in a new support player as Panda Squad just get picked off. Looking for too much of a flank there.
Pandathon going down, though. That's going to be difficult as Everest, they want to build into that EMP. That EMP is going to be the bread and butter of this team composition, and now they're going to be behind in terms of their own charge for that EMP, as Meridian Tech look like they're quite literally fired up after that extensive series that they just played against Stevens College.
And the role swapping for Meridian Technical is crazy. We saw Big Boofus popping off on the Roadhog. He's now DPSing. So is Eternal Flame, who was landing huge antis before on the Ana. So just the flexibility Meridian Technical has is absolutely impressive. And I'm curious what their best lineup will be. Maybe they feel this isn't their best lineup as the Everest, even despite that first fight, are a series.
You can see the respect too. The moment they saw that Panda Squad was on their backline, look how quickly that Panda Squad has been able to try to build up that EMP. And now with 3 members down from Meridian Tech, they're playing at the disadvantage. Everest is going to be able to build into these next round of ultimates. But you can see currently Panda Squad, they saw Burning. Burning doesn't really know whether to try to contest there, as the point has already been given up to Everest. But with 44% of extra credit from Meridian Tech, not a bad start here for this team.
You gotta look for Panda Squad, as you mentioned. They've been on the back line this whole day. They have that EMP available. I bet they start to fight off with a big one soon to come.
Oh, yep, there goes the EMP. Is online for Panda Squad. Let's see how they're going to be able to utilize that, as Diamond Dog is the first to set down that minefield, the first one to use that ult. See you later, though, as Steel Claw gets taken off the map. That's not grapple from Diamond Dog, controlling so much of this space. Can he get another one here? They're just sending Meridian Tech all the way back to the spawn.
Didn't even need the EMP, which is the crazy part. They had just the minefield. We have seen some insane wrecking balls played today for really every single team, and now we get 3 ults for the Everest. We'll have 4 for Meridian Tech. I'm curious what Meridian Tech wants to do, but you see Panda Squad, Vicky, they're setting up. This is very clearly an EMP play.
And here goes the attack visor now from Big Boopus. Here comes the big EMP. It's a 4-man EMP, but even then, there was nobody from Everest to follow up. Soup gets the boop. Not only D-Mex the Diva, but sends Chum all the way to the depths of the map. And now Meridian Tech flip the tides, and this is a great spot for Meridian Tech to be, because look at the ultimates that are about to come online. They didn't use 2 of them from Eternal Flame and Burning, and they're about to get the Shatter ready for King Swift.
Eternal gets a hello from behind for Bandit there. They were looking for a flank with that Deadeye too. That might have been huge. I want to see if the Everest hit the go button now with Eternal Flame out of the fight.
See, Judge does miss that pulse bomb stick though, and now Steelclaw does go down. That would have allowed Steelclaw to build into this coalescence, but Meridian Tech, they're utilizing these ults, but they're not getting too much off of it. The whole hog from Burning has been used up themselves. Now Big Lupus also finding Luminescence. That's going to be huge with no Transcendence here for Everest. We're just getting a few trades here, but Panda Squad needs to build into this EMP. That's going to be the game plan for Everest. Oh no, no, not Burning. Oh, Burning.
I like that for Burning, otherwise
up on.
Panda would have just farmed that EMP for that fight. As you said, that's the key, and that's I think what Everest is really relying on is a big EMP. Panda Squad's going to have another one here. This is really the last chance for Meridian Technical before they have to start going in on a stagger, depending on how long they take.
And Burning making the swap over to the Zarya to kind of soak up most of that damage. Here comes an EMP, a 6-man EMP! Nobody from Meridian Tech is safe! Big Boofus is the first one to get focused down on, but with the rally, Everest is just gonna press forward. They're just gonna play in front of Meridian Tech's face, and there's nobody from Meridian Tech that can even try to contest this point.
They have the 6-man EMP, but no one, I think like one person died in the EMP. It was such a delayed reaction. I don't know if the Everest weren't ready for Panda Squad to go in, but the fact they get a 6-man EMP and they all live, and as you said, the rally comes out, the hold W comp comes out for the Everest. I really think that this Sombra is giving Meridian Technical absolute headaches because they basically have to keep looking in so many different directions to try and find Panda Squad that they're never looking to actually take a fight.
What was crazy though, off of that EMP, Meridian Tech was just denied so much time and so much abilities just from that fight alone that the rally that Everest used to combo with that EMP allowed the rest of Everest to move up quickly to deny that space away from Meridian Tech, and they knew that they were only 10 seconds away from securing that point, so Meridian Tech had no choice but to eat all of that damage. Now going into round number 2 though for this first map, Everest look like they have other game plans, and Panda Squad is on the Symmetra, so they are going to be able to teleport the rest of Everest to take that control over the point first.
They're going to get there first. Meridian Tech's not too far behind, though. Here's Judge with a great flank, if he can see anybody.
If he can get through those pillars, absolutely. But he's got those teleporters to actually maintain a bit of an off-angle position here. As you can see, Judge now getting onto the flank. Who from Meridian Tech can even contest this? The Reinhardt shield is going to get melted away, and now Meridian Tech can't even traverse through the space without going into the line of sight of Judge.
I don't even know if they know Judge is up there. He's just destroying them. He's worried about the flank. There's no one there. And Diamond Dog has a Shatter. Meridian Tech just lost that fight so hard. And look at the ult differences. The Shatter 50% ahead for Diamond Dog over King.
And with Judge being on this Bastion and taking that high ground angle on some Meridian Tech, that's going to waste so much time and split so much attention from Meridian Tech, and you just have Judge on the high ground with that teleporter that can just change positions and go all the way on the other side of the high ground. As you can see right now, he's denying a lot of that space from Meridian Tech. They have the nano boost, but is it going to be enough with Diamond Dog looking for a flanking Shatter, and he lands it. He tries to deny more, and Everest is still claiming so many of these heads away from Meridian Tech.
Look at Judge, he's still just untouched up here. We have seen, it must be Bastion pop-off day, Vicky, because these Bastions have just been dominating every game so far today.
The Bastion main influence is too much here. I cannot. With Meridian Tech also trying to run that composition after their first series of Stevens College. Stevens College doing something similar. And now Everest is here with the Symmetra teleporter to change up that position. It's just been lethal in terms of controlling space. And look at this time bank with Everest nearing 70%. They have not been contested once on this point because of this approach.
Luminescence should have a sound barrier for this next fight too.
We're gonna have to use that sound barrier for the approach. I like the photon barrier that's gonna provide them some of that extra space while they do try to get up to the point. Panda Squad gets denied here. The Shatter, now it's Meridian Tech's turn with King Swift Swiffer to be able to deny that with the Shatter. They're going to finally turn the tide here on the points. But Everest, look at the extra credit that they got. Nearing 90% just to claim this point alone when they already have the advantage to claim this first map.
I think that was a great job by Meridian Tech. They barely beat the sound barrier charging just as the two members went down for the Everest is when Luminescence had that sound barrier. So now they can probably just sound barrier and go in, especially off that pick from Eternal Flame.
And they still have more ults too that they're rotating from. They're only using the Bastion ult. They have the Ant Matrix from not Doomfist, so that way they can control more of that space. And look at the amount of pressure, the damage as burns through all of his health. Luminescence still holds onto that sound barrier like you were talking about, and that's going to be important here since Meridian Tech has to play from the disadvantage. Everest want to hold on to the sound barrier to prevent Meridian Tech from flipping this point if they can set one toe on it and contest.
Look at the Riptide in for Eternal Flame.
Oh, the sound barrier, the overtime taken away here. Throws the Riptide. Oh, you have to watch out. The remake kick off of Eternal Flame. Steel Claw goes down. Meridian Tech do not have enough members to stay on this point. And Everest, they're going to be the winners of the first map here in this first of 3 series.
Everest, I mean, that first map on Nepal, it looked like maybe Meridian Tech could get back in, but the Everest just assert their dominance. And I will say the big question, Vicky, is the thing that Meridian Tech did so well in that Stevens College series, they were so adaptable. You had burning DPS, and then you had burning tanking, and now Eternal Flames DPSing. I really wonder what the best comp for Meridian Technical is, because we've seen bright spots from all of their comps. I'm wondering if maybe that was, we're exhausted from our first game, we just need to get a refresh ourselves. That's why Eternal Flames on the DPS, but it feels like the Everest maybe capitalized on Meridian Technical getting a bit too experimental in a comp there, because I thought Eternal Flame was too good on the Ana to move over to a DPS.
I also feel like Everest is forcing Meridian Tech to adjust too quickly between the Sombra composition that we saw, the EMP plays coming in for that first round, and then the Bastion plays coming into round 2. That's changing up the composition so quick onto Meridian Tech that there's a high chance that they just didn't have enough time to make those quick adjustments that we had seen from Meridian Tech just in their first series alone with Stevens College.
Right, losing control might not be a big deal for Meridian Tech. Remember, they lost to Stevens College in the first map, ended up coming back for that reverse sweep, mini reverse sweep in a best of 3. It's still a best of 3 here for the Everest and Meridian Tech. We go to Junkertown as our next map. The Everest looking to win this one clean. Meridian Tech looking for another game 3, and we'll see how long they can stay around. And I'm curious what the comp is. That's my first question that is going to be answered right away, Mickey, is what is the comp for Meridian Tech when you see Eternal Flame back on the support? I think they realized we got a bit too cute for the Everest, and they absolutely punished us for it.
I figured that we were going to see a pirate ship composition, and I think that's what Meridian Tech is going to provide to us right now. If they are the ones on the attack, I could see them, or actually they're the ones on the defense, which means that they're going to be taking the high ground position, which won't allow them to situate themselves on the cart that Everest would otherwise do if they were the ones running a Bastion. But this is going to be important to note that Meridian Tech running the Bastion composition on this high ground needs to watch out for Judge, who is on this Widow, Panaspot, who is on this Hanzo, but he gets denied immediately. He must have been in the line of sight of Soup to get that stun into wiping out Panaspot. Great start here for Meridian Tech, but they lose Javers in the process, which means that they won't have that immortality field.
They can fight on the low ground. Judge, I'm waiting for them to have that pop-off. They were so strong on our last game, but Burning just kind of hanging back. The shields are keeping Burning alive, but the payload's just pushing right at him.
Yeah, the payload now just trying to round the corner, and with Big Rufus going down, Meridian Tech are losing heads way too fast. Too much damage output from Everest to deny their game plan. And that's the issue with bunker comp. When you're not the one on the payload and you decide to take up shop into that high ground spot, you have to make sure that you're denying all of that damage and you can keep your supports up. But the moment that Technical lost Javers, they lost that advantage. They lost the ability to bunker down. And now the Nano Boost coming in as Big Rufus gets taken out. That Nano Boost doing absolutely nothing for Eternal Flame, as we may see a comp swap from Meridian Tech as this Bastion composition is not working out for them.
Consider yourself.
This Bastion comp has left a lot to be desired. That Nano feels like they're going to swap, right? You don't just Nano your Reinhardt to suicide unless you had other plans, and they will flip Eternal Flame over to that Mercy. Maybe they think the issue is maybe the Bastion doesn't have enough of a pocket, because they're sticking with Burning on this Bastion. It was great against Stevens College, but the Everest are not running a forest. This Bastion has not had a place to bunker down.
what's scarier too is with Eternal Flame going onto this Mercy, you can see the position that Panda Squad is making with the Dragons. He's right on the other side of them. He just split up the squad and he took out Eternal Flame. That's one of the main supports going down, and he's still going. He's looking for a 4K right now. He gets it here with some help of the rest of Everest team, and Panda Squad is on another level. Look at this. You could see them feeding themselves, and now they're going to have all the space in the world to get onto that high ground to contest Meridian Tech for this next point.
Today we find a new champion.
Feels like Meridian Technical fell into the issue of, we have that. Okay, never mind. Nice Bastional. They waited on that Bastional. I hope they swap now, though, because that was not worth the waiting and losing that happened with burning on that Bastion.
And that's the problem with this point in Junkertown, in this third point. This is going to give so much advantage and space to Panda Squad. It allows you and enables more verticality that Hanzo will provide. And as you see Soup going down, something needs to be done against Panda Squad because he is all to the metal and no breaks here for Meridian Tech. They got to deny Panda Squad because he is just holding forward.
He's got another Dragon Strike. He might not even need it at this point. He might just single-handedly force this card onto the spot with almost 5 minutes left.
Now he's denying entrance from one of the spawn points with the Dragons. It's going to force Meridian Tech to isolate themselves and exit from the other side. You see Big Boopus just waiting out those Dragons. He's got Shatter ready. He wants to look for a flanking opportunity behind that Arista shield, or it's going to be all for naught. He's getting all in his face. He's got the Discord orb on him, but look at the shield, denying the Shatter. That's exactly what he wanted to prevent, and Everest have just been wiping out Meridian Tech unstopped too. They just moved that payload without being stopped one single time by Meridian Tech.
And Meridian Tech kind of fell into the same trap that Stevens College fell into in our first series. They just kept giving space. They're never taking fights. We get a look at this replay here. I mean, this is just Panda Squad running them down. He's holding W and just left-clicking on everything he sees. Meridian Technical, it felt like on that whole map, Vicky, we saw like 2 fights because they just kept giving space and waiting for a setup that never actually happened.
That was absolutely insane. Insane to see how much value Panda Squad got off of that Hanzo alone. We had seen from the very beginning the game plan that Meridian Tech really wanted with that Bastion, but did they stay onto that pick and run that composition for too long that it prevented them from even stalling on the car once? Meridian Tech is a team that we were highlighting being so quick to adjust, were not quick enough to adjust against Everest in that first push from Everest while they were on the attack.
I'm curious what Meridian Technical wants to do, because this feels like their comp, Vicky, with Eternal Flame on the support, Burning in Soup DPSing, Big Boofus on the tank, but they're not going to the characters that won them again, that they were so good on, like the Roadhog, like the Ana. They're being forced off their comfort choices by the Everest, and now I'm curious if this is an ego challenge here by Soup. Very rarely do you see the Widow get picked unless you know the other team has a good sniper, and you're like, I'm going to prove you wrong. This could go poorly for Soup if he just gets domed off the spawn.
We have to see. I mean, with Big Boop is getting put to sleep already, just get woken up, and King Swifter getting put to sleep. Soup is the first one to go down. Panda Squad making a statement right out of the gate saying, Soup, you can try all you can, but I'm not going to let you get it. Denying the opportunity. And Everest getting those 3 picks first. He's going to put them in the driver's seat with those ult charges.
5 onto the support, but an anti just basically spells Doom, not Doomfist picking up more. Meridian Technical's just running into their death.
Everest right now, the momentum is 100% on their side. They are feeling themselves right now, Fish, and Meridian Tech can't even find an opportunity on which door they can exit the spawn because Panda Squad is still finding these picks off of Meridian Tech.
I mean, Soup has got to find a pick. It was an ego challenge pick on that Widow. Soup's got to start this with a headshot onto Panda Squad. Otherwise, they're just, as you said, they're never going to leave their spawn because Panda Squad is just killing everyone that moves.
Does he miss? Does he miss, Fish? Because right now, Panda Squad is going all in. He's been looking for another headshot. He gets it again onto Soup. This is the 3rd pick. Can we see him 4th? He is head for head right now. He's going to try to deny Burning. He does it again. He's cleared out all of Meridian Tech basically single-handedly while the rest of Everest just pull him into their line of sight.
And we haven't even seen Judge yet. Judge is on the Hanzo as well. This double sniper comp for the Everest is just, I mean, you see Judge gets a kill. They can't even leave their spawn.
Judge is like, hold on, Panda, hold on. Let me do something too. I promise I can do it. And he does. He finds another head, though. Burning's looking for a flanking opportunity, but since he's trying to isolate the supports, you can see right now how everybody from Everest just shifted their entire attention onto Burning. He can't even get the blade kill onto not Doofus, and Everest have so many of their ultimates online. Even losing Luminescence may not do anything, because it doesn't even look like they need the rally in this instant with Diamond Dog playing so up ahead. You can see the confidence levels in favoring Everest.
Double kill with for Chum there as well. And I have to wonder just how Meridian Technical breaks this. I feel like they've tried everything. Now Burning's going to try the Hanzo because the Genji didn't work, as you pointed out. Couldn't even solo kill a support. They need a huge haul here, probably from King Swiffer to start off this fight, because they can't even crack this high ground that the Everest have had the whole time.
That's the reason why Everest is that #1 team right now, has been the most consistent squad to be able to take all these esports tower rumbles, and they're looking to do it again. Everest on the high ground, they have so many ults. Luminescence still has that rally as well to help stabilize the rest of the team, but it doesn't even need to be executed with less than a minute on the clock. Meridian Tech are struggling still to get out of their spawn.
I think the Everest, even if Meridian Tech gets out of their spawn, have 4.5 minutes on their timer. Another for Panda Squad. Can they all play Orisa and Fortify?
Oh no, Panda Squad is not giving them the opportunity. Even the bait, looking at the fact that Big Foofus wanted to isolate Panda Squad try to grapple away from there, but puts themselves into the line of sight of Burning, who finally ends up wiping out Panda Squad. The first time that Panda Squad has gone down since Everest has swept on this defense. But now, Meridian Tech can utilize this opportunity as a way to get some extra credit because they need it with less than 15 seconds on the clock.
They're back, though, as you see Panda Squad picks up one. Judge is still on the back line as well, and is about 10% away from the Dragons. I don't know if Meridian Technical remembers that Judge is still alive.
You saw the desperate shatter coming in from Meridian Tech to deny Everest from contesting on that payload, but that doesn't mean the rest of Tech need to go on the payload. Meridian Tech didn't touch the payload. They pushed all the way up, and they were unable to stay on the payload, allowing Everest to win map #2.
They forgot about the payload!
I cannot believe this. Why have you done this? I can't. My face, I'm just like in disbelief right now. They had the right idea. They moved all the way up. You executed the shatter. They had the coalescence. They wanted to deny the space over to Everest. The issue was there was nobody from Meridian Tech in the backline to stay on the payload. What can they do at that point? Overtime was taking away. They didn't get to the first point yet. They didn't secure that extra time. And in that, Everest win map 2 on Junkertown.
That was absolutely phenomenal. The Everest still looking strong, Vicky, from the Esports Tower. And man, the Esports Tower's got some good things going on as well.
Yeah, that was such a game to see here from Everest and Meridian Tech, but I feel like it mostly highlights and puts Everest on the spotlight to really show off why this team is so consistent in the way that they have been. Not only making some of those composition adjustments, but we have to talk about the execution that we are also seeing from not only the DPS lineup, from the tank lineup too, from Everest, because the tanks have been able to enable a lot of these DPS from taking the space and off angles that they have been able to take.
I'm very curious to see who will be able to challenge the Everest. I thought Meridian Tech would be the best team to do it. But now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see what Stevens College can do. We saw how close they were to Meridian Tech. Maybe they can offer a bit more of a challenge to the Everest. We come back, it'll be the Everest and Stevens College. That will wrap up our first week of this Week 3 Rumble. We'll come back with our final game of the night. Meridian Tech taking on the Everest right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back into this broadcast, the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. We are wrapping up our first week of week number 3. We have seen an incredible set of games. The Everest winning their rematch of the Week 2 Grand Finals. We also saw Meridian Tech barely edging out Stevens College in that first game of the night. But we're going to end things here. Fish, Vicky, Kitty calling all of your action with the Everest taking on the other half of our first matchup of the night, Vicky. It'll be the Everest taking on Stevens College. The Everest absolutely dominated Meridian Technical. We'll see what they can do against Stevens College as well.
Yeah, and with all this talent, I mean, come on, 3 million viewers, 2 million in scholarships. What more do you need to know if you want to get seen and score scholarships? Get in the club. Pick the game you want to play at esportstower.com, because this competition that you're seeing fired up, this is where it all starts here, and it could only go up from here. As a player, you want to make sure you can strive to be the best, because then you could be out here just like teams like Everest is out here.
Yeah, the Everest have been putting on a show for the Esports Tower. We haven't even seen the other two teams, Fire Islands and the Monsoons. We'll see them next week on the broadcast as we wrap up the group stage. But for now, it's time to get ready to hop into our last game of the night. But before we do that, we'll help out Stevens College, because no offense against them, but the Everest are that talented. We got to give you Doc's keys to the game as presented by the Esports Tower. You can score pro advice at esportstower.com, because, I mean, you need something, Vicky, to stop the Everest, because, I mean, Panda Squad just dominated on Hanzo on attack and then Widow on defense. I mean, it's almost like you just wonder, can we prevent Panda Squad from playing? Can we just move to Overwatch 2 and take him out of the game, please?
Or can we just play out of the spawn? like Everest just did not let Meridian just get out of the spawn in that entire map. And that's the difficulty when you decide to run. We look at the other side of the coin. You got to see teams play that bunker composition. It didn't really work out for them on the high ground like that. But when you have players like Panda Squad just coming out on the Hanzo, clicking on your heads, what do you do in that situation? I mean, so far in today's competition, it's been a fantastic time to get a taste of all these different talented teams and the ways that they approach these different comps.
I am very nervous for Stevens College, because when they were successful, Vicky, it became around the Farah. Farah is not going to be playable in this matchup. And if the Everest play like they just played against Meridian Technical, especially the way that Panda Squad played on Junkertown, you cannot pick Farah, because she will just be sniped out of the sky on repeat. We go to Lijiang Tower as our first map, so maybe there's some flexibility if you can sneak a Farah in there, depending on the map order for Lijiang. But my goodness, this is my big concern here for Stevens College, is how do they counter a comp that absolutely destroys the one comp that they were able to pull off successfully time and time again?
I think that's what's going to test out Stevens College and their durability with that comp that they feel so comfortable with. Now that we get to see how they perform on Lijiang Tower, we're going to have to see how that verticality is going to play into those compositions, because, there's different keys to the game, and Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch is to never take a fair fight, meaning take fights in unexpected places when they are unprepared, and the tempo is key here, because if you don't have that tempo going for these different compositions, this pharmacy legacy comp that we currently have Stevens College running and having so much success on may just get shut down by the way that Everest is playing.
Again, improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. esportstower.com. Let's get into it. We've got Doc's keys. We'll see if Stevens College can pull them off. I don't even know if the Everest need them. We should have made sure we didn't show the Everest those keys because they have been playing lights out. Let's hop into our final series of the night here. The Everest taking on Stevens College. We start on Lijiang, and interestingly enough, it's actually the Everest who have the Pharah, and Stevens College aren't on the Pharah, and they have a little bit of those lineups off with Atomic now on that support role.
I wonder here if Everest took some notes off of Stevens College study book here, because this is interesting. This is not what I was expecting. We just essentially see the roles reversed here, but with the Symmetra from Panda Squad and the Teleporter, they're going to get set up on that point first. They have the Immortality Field to help with that sustainability, but these turrets are going to be lethal in controlling this middle point for Lijiang.
I was wondering if we might get a rollout here from either Luminescence or Atomic, but neither of them pull it off. Bumblebee's those find that Teleporter, and Stevens College, unfortunately, no luck without the Pharah. They just get rolled in that first fight.
Oh man, Bumblebee had the Teleporter in their sights. They were able to deny that ability, but because Everest win this first team fight, they have the advantage. They have the turrets already set up into place, and it's just going to allow Panda Squad to get another teleport set up.
Stevens College doesn't even have the Symmetra anymore, so they can't rely on that Teleporter. Diamond Dog already has the Shatter. Oh no, if Diamond Dog predicts when they come around the corner, this Shatter could be huge.
Oh, and he knew that the shield wasn't up. He gets a huge Shatter at that. Everest already starting off so strong, but not before Diamond Dog gets taken out. Unfortunately, not Doofus quick enough with that Immortality Field, but it doesn't even matter. That Shatter just opened everything up for Everest, as we're going to see Luminescence. We didn't see that Luminescence, don't worry, but we're going to have Luminescence reset quickly with the rest of Everest after winning that second team fight against Stevens College.
Problem is, besides the Amp Matrix for Rachel, Stevens College they're not above 60% on anything right now. When you look for the Everest, they almost have a Rocket Barrage. They already used the Shatter. The ult advantage tells you all you need to know how this first map has gone. It has been all Everest, and they're looking to do it one more time, this time with a Rocket Barrage.
Imagine, they have the photon barrier right now too, so they're going to create so much of that space. They're going to enable Judge to go in for a flank, to go in for that Rocket Barrage. You got to keep your eyes to the skies. If Stevens College can't even get through this white room, look at Judge though in that flanking position. He doesn't even need to utilize the Rocket Barrage. They're going to hold on to that because Stevens College gets wiped out in an Everest sandwich that you currently have Panda Squad making for the rest of the team.
As you said, they didn't have to use the Rocket Barrage, so you have Rocket Barrage, you have the Diva Bomb if you need to zone anybody off. You're almost to your second Shatter of the game for Diamond Dog. This is the last fight, and Stevens College has used one ult all game.
They just have not been able to have any ability to get in. Those turrets also putting in so much damage, but the Diva Bomb coming in from Chum is fun. Everest just do not know when to put their foot on the brakes because Stevens College couldn't even put a toe on the points. They don't even get to flip the point once, and Everest take the first round 0 to 100.
I'm curious if Stevens College will maybe try and change something up. I don't know if Atomic on the support was the right call. Again, as you said, though, maybe taking notes, realizing we can't even play the Pharah against this team. It would have been interesting to see the Pharah versus Pharah with Judge and Atomic going at it. But I'm very curious because Mango now on that DPS, it kind of throws me for a loop because I don't know what to expect for Stevens College because we haven't seen this comp so far because, again, this is a new team. I'm curious if maybe they overthought themselves just a little bit.
I just feel like right now, the way that Stevens College is trying to approach Everest is also feeling out what type of compositions that Everest feels comfortable playing, and seeing that we are in Lijiang, the Symmetra just provides so much just flexibility in getting to the point. With these teleporters, you're going to see Everest now teleport onto the high ground. They're going to be able to overlook Stevens College already from the get-go. As you can see, with Mango going down first, there's too much damage output. Even the Immortality Field from Rachel was denied immediately from Everest. And look at that position that they took off of the high ground. They were able to contest Stevens College while they were at the disadvantage on the low ground.
Now the Everest, they force a swap for Mango onto the Cassidy. You can just see the ult percent. I mean, you still have people in single digits for Stevens College. Everyone for the Everest up above 25%. And now they can kind of just hold this close door and force Stevens College to get creative as they get another pick right away.
and they're just still claiming heads one by one as Stevens College staggers on. Everest is holding forward, quite literally trying to hug their spawn point here, and they're still fighting these picks. Mango goes down as Judge being on this doofus just punches him against the wall. Diamond Dog try to replicate that, gets a quick little 2K on the support line, and Stevens College need to go back to the drawing board because right now Everest, not only do they have control over the point, but they are still claiming heads with Stevens College while pushing up into their spawn.
Another shatter up for Diamond Dog, so you have to take high ground here for Stevens College. You can see the silhouette. That's the only way to neutralize this shatter, but at some point, Vicky, you have to come off the high ground on this map. And I think the Diamond Dog is just going to be waiting for a huge shatter if we even get that close.
Yeah, you gotta come down from the high ground. You gotta try to put a foot on that point because right now, look at this percentage. Everest is nearing 60%, and just like you said, Diamond Dog has that shatter. The moment that Stevens College drops down from the high ground, if they don't put down that Orisa shield and deny that shatter, it's gonna be now Stevens College to try to look out for Diamond Dog who's trying to take that position. But they're not giving that yet to him. They get that first pick, they trade that as Mango now takes out care of Vanessa. They still have that self carrier for this next fight. Everest now, they're gonna be able to utilize everything though, and the Diva Bomb is gonna take care of Rachel, which is great here because they won't have that Ant Matrix as a threat.
Diamond Dog still has that shatter. This was the problem I was worried about. Once they came off the high ground, Vicky, everything fell apart. You can avoid the Reinhardt on the high ground, but you can't cap the point on the high ground. They lost so much time. Yes, they avoided the shatter, but they didn't make any progress on the point.
We're going to get another 0 to 100% favor for Everest here. Stevens College cannot even touch the points. They're all stuck by the spawn again. We are getting another case of Team Everest just denying any sort of space to their opposition, and it is quite crazy to see how consistent that they have been in that game plan.
And to me, they're doing against the two best teams. Of course, we know Meridian Tech was in the grand finals last week, but Stevens College was toe-to-toe with them in our first match tonight. These teams felt even in Everest. You said they're not even letting them get on the point. We'll go to Rialto for our second map. We'll see if the Everest can put another sweep together. I'm curious if Atomic maybe moves over. I feel like even though the Fire probably will get hard countered by Judge and by Panda Squad, I feel like you have to try your best comp here because clearly they tried to get creative. They tried to say, we can't play Fire. We'll put Atomic on the support. And she wasn't bad by any means, but it just wasn't the comp that they can win on.
Yeah, it's difficult too because when you see that Stevens College had a really strong FAR composition, you can imagine that they wanted to test their waters against Everest and the way that they were going to approach that same exact composition. And unfortunately for Legion here, it benefited Everest and their composition swaps first, especially with that Symmetra, allowing them to control a lot more space faster than what Stevens College was even able to get set up.
We'll get the Pharah, but it'll actually be from Mango as Atomic will remain on the support line. So I still think, again, this is the best comp that Stevens College has to win with the Pharah. I'm curious how Mango plays it, but I see Judge on a Widowmaker, and I get very scared because Judge can easily eliminate Mango right out of the sky.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see how they're going to try to approach this composition that Stevens College is finally going to be able to pull out here. Rialto does provide much more of that verticality to allow Mango to reset, but you have to look for your backline. You have to make sure you can help heal for Rachel as Rachel gets taken out, and that's just because Alithia is so busy just trying to contest Diamond Dog, who just gets that pin on her, and she gets taken out so quickly in terms of that health pool that she originally had, and now Panda Squad, being on this Tracer, is going to be able to take these flanking angles to deny Stevens College to essentially sandwich them in the way that we're currently seeing them do right now.
And the flank is the other thing. Outside the Bastion that Stevens College had some issues with against Meridian Tech with some great flanks. Not by a Tracer, but by some less mobile heroes. And now there's a Tracer involved? Oh man, you gotta watch out. As you said, they're just busy trying to cover 8 different angles all at the same time.
It's so scary too, and even though Stevens College seemed to feel a little bit more comfortable out of the gates, look at the way that Everest is playing this. Judge being on this Widow and having so much available to you in your sightlines is going to be so scary as they round this next corner.
Judge also gets to just establish high ground early. They have pushed Stevens College all the way back. Now they're just going to get a farm damage. The infrared sight should probably be up for this next fight. This is exactly how the Everest wanted to draw this up.
Oh no! Panda Squad with the blink forward and the pulse bomb. He knew the res was going to come out too. He tries to deny the res from Rachel, so Rachel gets to see another day. Panda Squad gets hit with the anti and no recall coming in from Panda, so they get taken out by Atomic. Atomic, who is now on the honor this time around. Everest, though, they might finally see themselves weakening here. Stevens College to control this high ground. It's going to be lethal, but not Doofus with this Immortality Field still has been able to survive.
He just kited them up and down on the high ground. That was a great play, and now everyone's back here. You got to watch out for Diamond Dog's Shatter. There's not a great way to stop it if you're the Everest, or you're Stevens College.
And the Shatter does come down. Atomic gets caught in the middle of it, but Atomic gets to survive after that Valk. But before that, Atomic gets taken out at the very end when you have Luminescence in their sights. Everest now still controlling his high ground. Nobody stopped Doofus yet, too, and he's about to build up this Ant Matrix. Stevens College did hold back Everest for slightly right by that corner, but not before you see Everest is completely restabilizing this next corner.
Doomfist playing like basically a third DPS here. He doesn't have time to heal his team at all, but he's just pumping out damage right now on this Baptiste.
It's just, again, just holding forward. He's essentially providing some of that support DPS for Panda Squad, who's going to release another pulse. So I'm not going to find anybody this time. But these ult charges, you have the sound barrier. Luminescence is going to be able to utilize that for this next push from Everest.
It's a great flank with the Deadeye.
See if Mango could get anybody with it, but nobody was in his line of sight except for Luminescence, the most important member from Everest to hold on to that sound barrier for this next approach. Now that Luminescence gets taken out, Stevens College have a lot more time to restabilize now, control up ahead to control some of that space that Everest has been able to buy in for themselves because they want to use that sound barrier to approach this payload.
I am curious if the Everest are going to move off Judge on this Widowmaker. It hasn't been bad, but I think they're just running out of value it can get. There's so many line of sight spots in this last payload place. I'd like to see Judge swap off to something that can provide a bit more oomph in extended team fights.
Yeah, especially with Stevens College making the adjustments and Mango swapping off the Pharah into the Cassidy allows them to get those stuns onto Panda Squad and prevent Panda Squad from getting into a flanking angle. But the Diva Bomb, Bumblebee in their line of sight gets taken out by the Diva Bomb, and Atomic meets his fate alongside him. Now right into the spawn, Soil Pound tries to back away, but Stevens College, they need to get something going here because look how far up Everest is pushing into their spawn. Nobody to contest this payload.
I mean, that fight was basically, as you pointed out, he got caught, now has to try and do a last grass tack visor, but couldn't quite find it there.
Pin. Yeah, and now the pin from Diamond Dog just sending one of their members of Stevens College all the way through the back. Nobody was there to touch the payload. Everest just non-stop with this payload. The only time that Stevens College held them back was in that last choke point.
They're right there. Unfortunately, Bumblebees gets nanoed. They're trying to set up a crazy tack visor play on defense, but a great Diva Bomb from Chum is Fum just picks him off. I think that was really the fight, because I think they hold them there with the nano tack visor, but unfortunately a great Diva Bomb trying to just cause some zoning issues, and now we'll see what Stevens College wants to do, if they want to try and push with that Pharah comp, if they're going to try something else. And I'm curious if Panda Squad or Judge will bring out a sniper and basically try and ground the pharmacy before it even gets going and really complete the sweep and complete a very impressive day one performance for the Everest.
Yeah, we've been also hyping up Everest for all the right reasons. I mean, this is a team right now that has just been so consistent. Will they win a back-to-back Rumbles just to kick off this winter season? I mean, at the moment, that's exactly what it's looking like. But we have to highlight the adjustments that we had seen from Stevens College at the very end there. With Mango swapping over to the Cassidy, it was there so that way they could utilize that tool to prevent Everest from taking these flanking angles that they were able to build up with Panda Squad. And in that, try to deny that momentum that Everest was able to build up. But at the very end, in that last choke point, with Diamond Dog also taking a really nice position with that Shatter, it was so difficult for Stevens College to encapsulate Everest at the very end there. Now, Stevens College, though, they're the ones coming out of the gates. They're the ones on the attack, so they have to break through the defense that Everest is going to be able to build up. Oh,
yeah,
no.
I was worried about that, Mango. The ego check on the sniper. Panda Squad's going to put him right back in the squad.
He's taken out both the DPS, and it hasn't even been 5 seconds after the gates opened. I can't even believe this right now. Everest, though, having the high ground to be able to angle their way into where Stevens College is going to be funneling out from. Look how confident Diamond Dog is playing. Quite literally up in their face, past the bridge. I mean, you have to be careful here. You could get pulled out by Olympia off of the map, but right now, Stevens College can't even restabilize themselves.
Judge has the bar as well. We can see this college. They can't even get out of the spawn if they even make a move. Panda Squad's going to headshot your DPS on the high ground. I don't know how they can come out of this because there's just so much control for the Everest right now. They need to get a pick onto Judge and Panda Squad somehow, probably at the same time.
To think here, with Stevens College also trying to stick to this Bastion composition, what we had seen before from Stevens College versus Meridian Tech, and how Meridian Tech was able to make those adjustments. And now with Bumblebees going down again, this is a very similar outcome that we could expect with Everest now going all the way to the spawn. I mean, just getting the follow-up right there with Chum is fun. Now the Shatter going down. Everest are hugging Stevens College spawn points. They don't even have any room to breathe.
I was wondering if Judge is going to camp him with a rocket barrage. And yeah, this Bastion comp, I mean, I can see once they get on the payload it's going to work, but they can't even get on the payload. I think they need to get off this Bastion, try and find a way out, and then maybe Bumblebees can swap back.
See Judge with that rocket barrage that you were saying, trying to take an off angle, maybe tries to predict a different approach from Stevens College if they want to go through the back end of the spawn instead. But Judge, not wanting to overextend, is going to hold back a little bit. They're getting excited. They know that they're winning these trades. They can't get ahead of themselves now. Supercharger being called in from Alithia to allow Stevens College to at least get some space. But Everest are playing this so spread out, it's difficult to nail down one target.
Judge, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and now you've lost your whole point of the comp with the Bastion gun, so all this pushing means you still can't even get your Bash on the payload. Now it's actually harder for them to set up this comp.
What's crazy is the way that Diamond Dog and Chum has still been able to survive so much damage, even Diamond getting put to sleep by Rachel, but Stevens College aren't securing these picks, and that's the reason why they haven't been able to escape through the bridge alone, and they're just denying that composition, like you were saying, where they want to revolve that comp around the Bastion.
Bastion dies again. Judge gets taken out. I like what they're doing, and this is the one thing that ended up bringing Stevens College down against Meridian Tech, is they were a one-comp team. They got to figure out how to change up this comp on the fly because Bumblebees cannot get anywhere near the payload, which is all the value the Bastion needs. But he can't get there. He's just dying in spawn over and over again.
Again, you're just trying something over and over again and not finding any rewards for it. Even the anti-hitting onto Luminescence, you can't push in if that DPS, the one trick that you're trying to pull up your sleeve, is not working. It's not granting you the space that you want. The Shatter on top of that, putting in so much pressure, but Alithia, with that hole, is going to be able to just deny any of that space. Here comes a Rocket Barrage, though, the flanking Rocket Barrage. They deny that, though, as you see Soypal finally isolate Judge in the skies, but not before it's met Mango right head on. Mango makes that quick swap, and I like the swap a lot better because now Mango can help go in from these flanking positions and stop Everest from getting onto this high ground.
Last chance for Stevens College to at least get to the first payload point. They have the Bastion. Well, they have the Bastion set up. They were almost ready to go, Vicky, but unfortunately the Bastion goes down again. Now they have to pull out America.
You can see here with some of those adjustments that Everest has made, how they've been able to synergize with one another. Panda gets another pick though off of Rachel. That's one of the supports down, only leaving Atomic to keep the rest of Stevens College alive. They don't have time left. Overtime taking away from Stevens College, and it's only Bumblebees coming out of the spawn points. Everest fully denies Stevens College from even getting to the first point.
The Everest looking strong once again. They are absolutely popping off. The Everest pick up the win here. They move to 2-0 again. We'll see if they can go back to back in our grand finals next week. But they are looking so strong right now, Vicky, and I have to say, I mean, Stevens College and Meridian Tech look like our two best teams. I mean, again, we'll see the Monsoons and Fire Islands next week in our Rumble when we wrap up the group stage. But, I mean, do you have any advice you can give these teams to be able to take down the Everests?
The giants that are the Everest, I mean, isolating a lot of those heavy hitters like Panda Squad could be a good start because you're taking out the foundation from what Everest is really building up on. But I really like the adjustments that Everest have had because even in those situations, you could see the way that Everest is approaching each new matchup differently. Even with Stevens College coming out of the gates with a Far on their own, with even the Symmetra, depending on the maps that we were going to go to first. I love the way they played Legion, but a lot of the strength from Everest lies in the way that they open up a lot of these games. They gain that momentum quickly and they try to stay with that momentum. And I feel like a lot of their opposition fails to try to take some of that control back. So maybe trying to break that foundation could be a good start in trying to dethrone Everest.
Well, as we wrap up our first week here in our Overwatch Rumble. We do have our Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game to give away, Vicky. I think there's some very deserving candidates from the players we saw today. Who do you think is the ICCU player of the game, in your opinion?
I gotta say, Panda Squad, absolutely. With the way that Panda Squad was able to put in so much work. Of course, we saw the synergy from the rest of the team enabling Panda Squad, but landing those shots, shot after shot, especially in that series against Meridian Tech, where we saw them on Junkertown, we have to highlight this player as being a mainstay here.
Yeah, I thought Panda Squad, and I mean, they didn't get the win, but I have to say that first map, that first series we had between Stevens College and Meridian Technical, I got to shout out Atomic, because Atomic really put Stevens College on the map. And I mean, really, it was Atomic and everybody else. And they had some great backup from Mango and Rachel, who were kind of alternating in the Mercy part of the pharmacy. But I think you're right. Panda Squad deserves it, but I can't go without giving a shout out to Atomic, because they were so impressive. And they made Stevens College look like a much better team in that first series than when they were moved to the support role. And I think it was for good reason, because the Everest would have denied everything they wanted to do on the Farah, and it probably would have ruined the good taste I had in my mouth. But I thought they were so impressive. We'll have to see if who we pick is the correct choice. But I have to say, you're right. Panda Squad, they put on a clinic on how to basically 1v6 as a Hanzo towards the end of Junkertown.
Yeah, that was really fantastic too, just the way that they were able to play, but also looking at the way that that first went down, that first series with Stevens College just put in so much work.
And speaking of that first series, it'll actually be Soup who's the player of the game, and I will say, Soup was the driving force behind getting Meridian Technical into this series, right? They had so many great Deadeyes. They didn't even win control with all of his great Deadeyes, but I thought Soup really started getting this team on the map, and then once Soup was established, Burning and Big Boofus could kind of come around and help the team. But I will say, Soup was incredibly impressive for Meridian Technical in their first series in particular.
And what was super important coming in from Soup was the adjustment that they made out of the gates when they saw that Stevens College composition really did revolve around the Farah. The quick swap over to the McCree, even after losing that first fight, was so important, because it goes back towards what we were talking about before, that Everest has such a big strength in, and it's building up that early game momentum. So Meridian now are able to do exactly the same thing, but to Stevens College in that first series.
Player of the game brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union. He believes a great player makes the team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Soup is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game for tonight's part of the Rumble. Well, congratulations to all of our teams on a very exciting first night of our Week 3 Rumble. The Everest looking strong as ever, but this new team, our Stevens College team, they are looking really good. They forced Meridian Technical to the brink, and then they ran into the buzzsaw that is the Everest, and you have to wonder if anyone can slow them down. Who will advance to the grand finals next week? Make sure you join us February 22nd for our thrilling Week 3 Rumble conclusion at 6 p.m. EST right here on the Boise State Twitch channel. We'll close out with the top 5 presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering you a $20,000 bonus and career choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams out here. Here are your top 5, and we'll see you next week to crown a grand finals champion. Here, but he gets caught out.
Right behind the shield and the pin. There goes 2 now. Meridian Tech getting sent right back to the spawn. Just a matter of time before Stevens College manages to move all the way up. We talk about some of those adjustments, but Meridian Tech are now forcibly having to adjust around Stevens College playstyle. Into the Cassidy allows them to get those stuns onto Panda Squad and prevent Panda Squad from getting into a flanking angle, but the Diva Bomb, Bumblebee in their line of sight, gets taken out by the Diva Bomb, and Atomic meets his fate alongside him. Now right into the spawn, Soil Pound tries to back away, but Stevens College, they need to get something going here, because they don't really have that cover in the air.
Jump in there. They also have to pull up. There's the Deadeye, though. They pick up 2.
Yes, that's exactly what we're worried about. As Atomic didn't really have enough time to get away from that Deadeye. They waited for that perfectly. They had the Amp Agent to control that space, and now Meridian Tech, they are going to be able to flip this point Echo. But look at this composition that we're seeing from Stevens College already. They're still running the Bastion. They have the Symmetra. They're going to be able to teleport right behind Meridian Tech.
Is that a 6-man ante? I think they turned up a 6-man ante.
Oh, so on point with those antes and those accretion kills coming in. It's going to hold them back.
Oh, all eyes on Soup. Does he get a big Deadeye? It starts with a huge stun on Atomic. Can he win this map with a Deadeye?
Oh, the Deadeye right. You were talking about Soup Fish. You were talking about Soup for a reason. You have to track where Soup is or else his Deadeye is going to wipe your entire support line.